Hello there. Tonight, we're not looking at the familiar paths of planets or the usual chatter of satellites. Instead, we're going to step back into a moment of quiet wonder, one that makes the cosmos feel both vast and intimately near. Tonight, we consider something simple, yet unsettling. What if an intelligence far older and far wiser than our own is already watching us? What if 3I Atlas, an interstellar traveler moving with impossible precision through the void, is not a natural visitor at all, but a carefully constructed vessel from a civilization that has long mastered the art of cosmic observation? Imagine, standing beneath the night sky, the air crisp and cool, while a teardrop-shaped object glides silently among the stars. Its surface glimmers in ways your eyes can barely follow, reflecting light with patterns that defy expectation. Around you, the soft hum of human activity fades, replaced by the faint, almost imperceptible whisper of interstellar mechanics motions so precise, so deliberate, that they seem deliberate, as if some unseen hand choreographs the universe itself. It is a world both familiar and alien, a reminder that even the quietest corners of space might carry intelligence beyond our comprehension. Funny, isn't it? While we sip tea or settle under blankets, light years away, an object might be passing near Mars, calculating trajectories, and perhaps releasing unseen probes to observe our little blue planet. Maybe you're listening late at night, the lights low, the day almost behind you. Maybe your cat or your thoughts are your only company. Yet, here we are, sharing a quiet moment with a visitor whose journey spans millions of years. So dim your lights. Put on a fan if it soothes you. Lie back and let your thoughts slow to the gentle rhythm of orbiting planets. As we imagine 3I Atlas gliding past the Sun and toward Earth, consider, what might it see? Would it notice your tiny desk lamp glowing in a window, your sleepy routine, the careful habits of human life unfolding as they always have? Could it wonder about our breakfast choices, our stories, our laughter, or even our dreams? And so, before we witness what 3I Atlas might bring, or who it might reveal, we need to step back to where it began. A place of precise mathematics, patient observation, and the quiet elegance of a civilization far beyond our own. The story doesn't open with explosions or fanfare. It begins softly, with the trajectory of a visitor moving through space, setting the stage for discoveries that may forever change how we see ourselves and our place in the cosmos. On a calm July night at the Atlas Survey Telescope in Chile, astronomers noticed a peculiar ping on their screens. Unlike the chaotic tumble of ordinary space rocks, this visitor moved with a precision so deliberate it seemed almost thoughtful. Imagine the thrill of spotting something extraordinary, quietly whispering across the void as the air hums softly around you and the stars stretch endlessly above. Let's talk about that ping for a moment. A sound so faint it might have been a hiccup in the universe, or the tiptoe of a cosmic creature passing through centuries of empty space. You lean closer, pressing your palm to the cool metal of the telescope console, feeling the subtle vibration under your fingertips, like the pulse of a very polite heartbeat. Outside, the desert wind brushes your cheeks with dry fingers, carrying the scent of sage and distant rock, and the occasional rustle of night insects like a miniature orchestra tuning before the first note. You sip lukewarm coffee that tastes faintly like roasted dust, and it's somehow comforting, absurd even, as if you were watching this silent ballet while eating breakfast cereal in a spacesuit. Boots on sand, light on land, shadows stretch like a painter's hand. The screen shows a streak of movement, thin and elegant, a trail unlike anything catalogued before. Your imagination begins to wander. Is it comet, asteroid, or some cosmic trickster with a sense of humor? The way it arcs, precise and patient, seems to mock the random chaos of your own to-do lists. The same way a cat might stare at a laser pointer with deliberate disdain, you can almost feel the quiet impatience of the universe itself, folding time and space into something that looks almost like choreography. Stars wink in approval, clouds drift in denial, moons hum a tune, all in a silent cosmic rhyme. The astronomers exchange glances, a mix of disbelief and delight, whispering words you can barely hear. It shouldn't be doing that, and yet it is. You imagine the object gliding past Jupiter, brushing the edges of planetary rings as casually as a gondolier skimming Venice canals. The hum of computers, the gentle beep of data collection, the scratch of pens against notebooks, all these earthly sounds mix with the quiet majesty of interstellar movement, blending a soundscape that's almost meditative. Light curves begin to form, tracing its path like invisible brushstrokes across the dark canvas of space. And here comes another rhyming image. Silver gleam, shadowed stream, drifting through a midnight dream. You feel as if you are witnessing a secret ballet, and the absurdity of your own human routines. Email reminders, coffee orders, phone notifications, shrinks under the enormity of that silent, deliberate motion. The universe, in this moment, is both incomprehensibly large and intimately near, like leaning over a piano to hear the soft resonance of a single key, while the entire orchestra waits in shadow. Whispers float, sparkles coat. Nightbirds sing a cosmic note. You try to take it all in, the gentle tilt of the earth, the way your breath fogs against the cool night air, the dry scratch of sand shifting beneath your feet. Somewhere, far beyond, this visitor continues its elegant journey, entirely indifferent to human schedules, completely patient, as if time itself bends around its path. You imagine the mathematics that govern its course, equations so precise they would make your high school algebra teacher blush. There's absurd humor in picturing a cosmic object with better planning skills than any of us, quietly passing through solar systems as though reading the morning news for entertainment. Orbit aligned, starlight twined, secrets in a shape defined. By now, the initial ping has grown into a rhythm, a gentle insistence that demands your attention without shouting. You notice the way the lights on the console reflect off your glasses, doubling the stars, creating a private galaxy just for you and the telescope. Each flicker is a heartbeat, each number a whisper, and the world outside the desert, the night, your own tired bones feel suspended, perfectly balanced, as if the cosmos itself had paused to let you witness this quiet miracle. Glass and dust, cosmic trust, silent wings of starlit gust. And as you sit there, sipping coffee that has long since cooled, you feel the hum of curiosity vibrating through you, gentle but insistent. The object doesn't hurry, it doesn't announce itself. It simply moves, deliberate and precise, whispering through the void, inviting you to wonder, imagine, and finally, drift into a sleep of quiet awe. In this moment, with the universe spread above and the desert below, you realize that discovery doesn't always shout. Sometimes it pings softly, and if you listen closely, it might just rhyme, traveling at 137,000 miles per hour. 3 Atlas arcs past Venus, Mars, and Jupiter in a ballet of mathematics. Picture rolling dice and getting the same combination thousands of times in a row. This is the level of improbability that humbles even the most seasoned astronomers. And yet, here it is, gliding silently through the cosmos. Let's pause to imagine that trajectory for a moment. Tracing a path so precise it seems almost playful, like a child skipping stones across an impossibly calm lake. You feel the hum of the telescope equipment beneath your hands, a low vibration that mirrors the silent pulse of interplanetary motion. Outside, the desert wind carries a mixture of cold stone and distant pines, brushing your cheek and tugging gently at loose hair, while somewhere above, the faint shimmer of Venus peeks through clouds like a shy audience member watching a silent performance. Each planet it passes seems to nod in acknowledgement. You might even picture Mars raising an imaginary eyebrow as 3I Atlas slips past, nudging the gas giants in a graceful dance. The scale of this ballet is staggering. Moons spinning in quiet synchrony, rings twisting like ribbons around giants, and you, a tiny observer in Chile, feeling simultaneously infinitesimal and astonishingly close to this cosmic choreography. Imagine a chalk line stretching from the telescope to Jupiter, invisible yet precise. You lean closer, inhaling the cool desert air mixed with the faint aroma of metal and solder, and it almost feels like holding your breath alongside the universe itself. There's absurd humor in considering that a rock, or perhaps something far more intelligent, is moving with better planning skills than any of the humans who designed the observatory's scheduling system. Your calendar reminders, missed Zoom calls, and grocery lists fade into insignificance against the perfect arc of an interstellar path. Numbers flicker on the screen, velocity and trajectory aligning like dancers in slow motion. The idea of 3I Atlas threading gravitational corridors so carefully makes you think of a tightrope walker crossing Niagara Falls, blindfolded, while juggling flaming comets. You can almost hear the soft click of cosmic dice as the object rolls along its path. Each planetary pass, a triumph of improbable mathematics. The comet or not comet seems to whisper secrets. Distances measured in millions of miles, speeds so vast they render your daily commute a tiny, almost laughable affair. You might smile at the absurdity, your morning traffic jam, gridlocked behind a bus, while out there, this visitor sweeps past Venus in a perfect, silent curve, unbothered by planetary bureaucracy. Its path hugs the solar system with an elegance that reminds you of silk sliding over marble. You notice the stars trailing like distant lanterns in slow parallax, a subtle gradient of twinkling colors as the object passes, a cosmic light show choreographed without music. It's easy to imagine someone far older, far wiser than humanity smiling at the precision, amused by the tiny species on a small blue planet trying to catch a glimpse. Curiosity hums in your chest, the same quiet vibration that accompanies every extraordinary observation. The data curves, plotted points, and predictive algorithms feel like a language written in light and shadow. You can almost taste the numbers, tangy like citrus on your tongue, each calculation precise, deliberate, and beautifully exact. In this sense, the trajectory is not just improbable, it is poetic, a sonnet written across millions of miles of space, with planets and moons as punctuation. Even the absurd comparisons come to mind. Imagine 3I Atlas as a cosmic drone, weaving past the gas giants with the nonchalance of someone dodging IKEA furniture in a living room filled with unassembled bookshelves. The elegance of its path contrasts with our own clumsy human motion, reminding you of the scale and patience inherent to the universe, and the tiny, endearing chaos that accompanies our attempts to grasp it. By the time you blink, Jupiter has shifted slightly in your view, a slow, steady movement that mirrors your own heartbeat. You imagine the object's trajectory bending around the giant planet, gravity assisting it like an invisible friend, giving a gentle push, a playful hint that even the largest forces can act with subtlety. The improbability of its journey humbles you, yet also brings a strange comfort. The universe, though immense and unpredictable, can be meticulous, patient, and oddly considerate of those who watch quietly from the sidelines. As you step back from the telescope, the air feels heavier with the weight of possibility. tinged with ozone and the faint mineral scent of night soil. You can almost hear the object sighing in its own way, a cosmic exhalation carried along its impossible trajectory. The rhythm of its motion, so precise, so improbable, pulls at your imagination, inviting you to drift along, letting wonder and curiosity settle gently over your mind. And in that stillness, as your gaze follows the silent, graceful arc of 3-eye Atlas, you understand that probability itself can feel like poetry, and that sometimes the most impossible journeys are also the most beautiful. The universe continues its slow, elegant ballet, and you, quietly observing, are perfectly aligned to notice it. Measuring between 3.5 meters and 15 miles in diameter, the object dwarfs any visitor we've seen before. Its teardrop-shaped form shimmers like an ice crystal under a distant sun, a silent reminder that scale in the universe often defies our imagination. Let's step closer to that scale for a moment. Imagine standing on the observation deck, the cool metal railing beneath your palms, the faint vibration of the telescope thrumming in time with your heartbeat. Outside, the air is crisp and dry, carrying the scent of distant sand and ozone, as if the universe itself had exhaled a fresh breath. The stars above are pinpricks of silver light, scattered like sequins across a dark velvet curtain. And between you and that curtain, this massive teardrop drifts, its surface catching sunlight in ways that feel almost deliberate, as if someone painted each reflection with infinite care. You blink, and the absurdity of your human scale strikes you. Your apartment feels tiny, your morning coffee suddenly miniature, like a doll's cup in the shadow of a cathedral. This object is so vast that continents could fit across it, and yet it glides silently, almost politely, like a cosmic elephant tiptoeing through a ballroom. You shiver slightly, both from the chill in the desert night and the awe coursing through your chest, a reminder that size can overwhelm even without sound or movement. Glinting peaks, shadows deep, every inch a secret to keep. The teardrop shape itself is mesmerizing. Smooth curves taper like the tip of a quill pen, while broader sections reflect faint spectral colors, hints of metallic or crystalline structures hidden beneath the surface. You imagine running your hands along it, feeling grooves and ridges invisible to the naked eye, textures like polished marble crossed with the roughness of tree bark. Somewhere, deep inside, you suspect, lies machinery or intelligence, perfectly shielded from the cold vacuum outside. Across the control room, monitors display calculated distances and angles, a digital echo of the sheer magnitude of the visitor. Your fingers trace the contours on the glass, as if they could map the immense object with a single touch. The screen shows comparisons, larger than any asteroid, broader than the width of a small country, yet moving with a precision that makes a human commuter feel hilariously clumsy. You laugh softly at the thought, a cosmic speck ignoring traffic jams while earthbound humans grumble over road cones. Ice-like glow, shadowed flow, secrets hidden in the know. Even the smell of the telescope room seems altered in your perception. Dry air tinged with ozone, faint metal, and the subtle aroma of old paper from nearby logs. Your ears pick up every hum, every whisper of machinery, and for a moment, it's as though the room itself bends to accommodate the enormity of what you're observing. You imagine tiny satellites orbiting this behemoth, each one a minute brushstroke on a canvas larger than imagination. Every glance toward the sky reminds you that your mind was trained on meters and feet. Yet this object forces you into a new kind of math, one that uses planets as units and light years as increments. You picture a field of wheat beneath you, each stalk trembling in the night wind, and consider that even that entire field could vanish under the teardrop's shadow. Yet somehow, the universe manages both scale and delicacy simultaneously, a paradox that leaves you smiling at its absurd poetry. Silent wings, cosmic strings, shadows dancing without rings. You think about its teardrop shape moving past Mars and Jupiter, considering how it might appear from space. A glimmering shard of ice or metal, elegant and almost musical in its geometry. The object's size isn't just a measure of width or length. It's a statement about patience, precision, and intent. It moves like a celestial whale, gliding past moons and rings, brushing gravity fields with the gentlest of touches, as if unwilling to disturb even the smallest pebble on a Martian hillside. The absurdity of perspective strikes again. Your car, your cat, even the telescope itself feels comically small, toys set out on the floor of a universe that doesn't measure kindness or intent by size alone. You imagine standing on a tiny platform somewhere on the object's surface, looking back at Earth, seeing cities glow like scattered fireflies, forests like green carpets, oceans like dark silk. The thought makes you smile, dizzy with the scale of it all. Giant and small, mighty and tall, a silent echo above it all. As the teardrop continues its journey, you notice the harmony between movement and magnitude, the rhythm of interstellar passage that makes even the most absurd human concerns seem trivial. You inhale deeply, feeling the night settle into your lungs, and imagine the object moving slowly past Venus, Jupiter, and Mars, each planet nodding silently in the vast ballroom of space. The size of 3I Atlas is no longer merely a number. It becomes a lullaby of scale, a meditation on precision, patience, and the quiet poetry of the cosmos. And with that, you lean back, letting your mind drift with its motion, carried gently across the immense, silent, shimmering teardrop, as though the universe itself whispers, "Everything is larger than you think, yet perfectly aligned, just waiting for someone patient enough to notice." What if 3I Atlas isn't a comet, asteroid, or natural object at all, but an alien mothership? Consider a structure designed to deploy smaller probes, each quietly observing worlds as it passes, with precision and restraint that suggest intelligence, curiosity, and patient calculation. Let's imagine that for a moment. A vessel so vast, so meticulously constructed, it moves with the careful attention of an artist, brushing each stroke onto a cosmic canvas. You lean closer to your telescope, feeling the cool metal under your fingertips, the soft vibration humming beneath the surface like a distant heartbeat. Outside, the air smells of night-dry sand and something metallic, faint and tantalizing, as if the desert itself had caught a whiff of this visitor. Somewhere above, stars glimmer like sequins scattered across black velvet, and the object drifts, silent, deliberate, almost conspiratorial in its motion. You picture its hull, vast and teardrop-shaped, glinting with metallic surfaces that might hide sensors or panels. Perhaps tiny probes are already deployed, invisible to the naked eye, tracing our world from orbital paths that even the most sophisticated satellites couldn't detect. You can almost hear the soft whirring of micro-engines, gentle as a cat's purr, humming through the void. The absurdity hits you. Humanity can barely launch a weather balloon on schedule. Yet somewhere, light years away, this mothership operates with elegance and precision that would make our most advanced engineers blush. Silent wings, cosmic strings, secrets hidden in moonlit rings. Imagine the curiosity driving it. Intelligence, billions of years older than our own, watching a small, blue planet spin through space. Its probes might map oceans, catalog forests, and observe cities glowing at night, each motion recorded in data streams so precise they make your spreadsheets look like scribbles on a napkin. You shiver slightly, inhaling the crisp desert air, and feel the faint vibration of anticipation, as if the universe itself leans closer to listen. Outside, the wind scratches softly against rocks, a quiet accompaniment to this silent ballet of interstellar surveillance. Each probe, small yet capable, could be tracing magnetic fields, atmospheric layers, or subtle energy patterns that we can barely detect. You imagine them drifting over oceans, like invisible water bugs, skimming currents, and observing life below without disturbance. The concept seems absurdly polite, like someone entering your home and taking notes without touching a single object, leaving no footprints, no trace, only awareness. You smile at the mental image, your cat watching a ghostly probe and plotting its own counter-surveillance. Glint and shine, metal spine, moving past planets in a straight line. The patience required for such a mission boggles the mind. This mothership has likely been traveling for centuries, perhaps millennia, waiting for civilizations like ours to reach a stage where observation would be meaningful. You feel a strange calm, imagining the intelligence on board calculating trajectories, monitoring solar winds, predicting planetary alignments, and doing so without a hint of haste. The absurdity is comforting. While humanity frets over deadlines, stock prices, or whether the coffee machine will function, the cosmos plays a slower, deliberate symphony. Smooth hull glides, shadows bide, curiosity never hides. Even the air inside the observatory feels charged with anticipation. Your fingers trace the edge of the console, imagining tiny lights flickering across distant decks of this massive vessel. Perhaps alien engineers, long gone, have left automated systems humming quietly, preserving knowledge and curiosity in circuits and fields beyond our comprehension. Somewhere, beyond the telescope's reach, probes may already be deployed, tiny observers collecting patterns of life, gently cataloguing the small rhythms of human activity, as if we were part of a peaceful experiment. Vast and bright, silent flight, observation, without fright. You think about the restraint evident in this hypothetical ship. Unlike our own tendencies toward chaos, consumption, and noise, this mothership approaches with patience and care, avoiding collision, disruption, or unnecessary attention. It reminds you of a careful gardener tending a wild garden, pruning nothing, observing everything, knowing that even the smallest actions ripple across the ecosystem. Outside, the desert night deepens, the wind rustles, insects hum, and your heartbeat slows in sync with the quiet elegance of interstellar calculation. Probes in line, stars align, cosmic patience by design. As you step back and breathe in the dry, mineral-rich air, the absurdity and the wonder mingle. You imagine the ship passing Venus, Mars, and Jupiter, each planet a silent participant in its journey. The scale is incomprehensible, yet the motions feel intimately precise. You feel both tiny and deeply connected, a witness to an intelligence whose curiosity mirrors our own, yet whose patience stretches across centuries. And in that quiet moment, the hypothesis transforms from mere possibility into a meditation on scale, precision, and the gentle poetry of intelligence moving carefully through the cosmos. Unlike tumbling asteroids, 3I Atlas maintains perfect rotational stability. Imagine a top spinning in zero gravity, except it is thousands of times larger and moving across interstellar space, demonstrating a grace that feels almost deliberate. Let's dwell on that precision for a moment. You lean against the cool metal of the telescope console, feeling its subtle hum beneath your palms, a rhythm that seems to echo the steady spin of this colossal visitor. Outside, the desert night brushes your skin with dry, crisp air, carrying hints of sage and distant rock, while the stars above glitter like distant sequins scattered across black velvet. Every detail of this rotation, so steady and controlled, contrasts sharply with your own chaotic routines. Your coffee cup wobbling, papers sliding off your desk, your cat deciding this exact moment is ideal for knocking over a lamp, spinning right, without a slight, shadows cast in celestial light. You imagine the physics at play, angular momentum, gyroscopic stability, forces calculated with a precision that would make Earth's most advanced engineers weep in envy. It glides past Mars, gently adjusting its orientation, as if sensing the gravitational tug of moons and the subtle pressure of solar winds. Even the idea that a natural object could behave this way feels improbable. It's as if the universe itself conspired to produce a single, perfectly balanced dance across planets and stars. Curved and straight, shadows wait, cosmic elegance at a steady rate. Inside the observatory, the monitors track its movement, numbers scrolling like an arcane symphony. Each decimal point represents a velocity, an angle, a rotation that has been maintained for millennia, unaffected by collisions, meteoroid impacts, or the chaotic forces of interstellar space. You sip coffee that has long gone cold, tasting faintly metallic dust, and chuckle quietly at the absurdity. A spacecraft, or asteroid, spinning more gracefully than anyone in the room has ever walked, hovered, or attempted a yoga pose. Silver spin, cosmic grin, motion smooth as violin skin. You imagine it in 3 dimensions, rotating in place, a perfect pirouette against the black void. Tiny reflected glints catch your eye on the monitor, reminding you of ice shards or polished metal, glinting as if acknowledging your presence. The hum of electronics, the scratch of pen on paper, the distant rustle of desert wildlife, all combine to form a quiet orchestra, underscoring this celestial dance. You feel a curious calm, as though the universe is gently reminding you that perfection, in motion, can exist even amidst chaos. Gyres of light, silent night, twirling gently out of sight. Consider the scale. This is not a spinning top on a table. This is an object hundreds of miles across, slicing through space with an elegance that defies expectation. You picture tiny sensors or probes inside, monitoring rotations, adjusting thrusters, or simply drifting in zero-gravity harmony. The precision seems almost conscious, as if the ship itself understands the poetry of movement and the impact of every spin, every tilt, every momentary change. Round and round, without a sound, cosmic ballet astound. Your mind drifts to the absurd. Humans struggle to keep drones steady. Yet here, light years away, this object spins without wobble, tip, or hesitation. You picture a playful alien engineer sipping tea, observing the dance of their creation, perhaps making small adjustments with the finesse of a musician tuning a violin. Outside, the night deepens, the desert cooling further, while the hum of distant telescopes becomes a lullaby for your imagination. Balancing act, cosmic fact, elegance that leaves no crack. Even subtle changes in light reflect off the surface, hinting at panels, arrays, or unknown machinery rotating in perfect alignment with the overall spin. It's impossible not to feel awe, a silent object, massive beyond comprehension, yet spinning with the grace of a ballerina, threading through planets as if space itself had been designed for its dance. You inhale the crisp air, hearing the faint echo of your own breath, and feel the thrill of witnessing not just a visitor, but a masterclass in rotational elegance. Spin refined, forces aligned, patience written in every line. As you step back from the telescope, Your mind lingers on the rhythm of the object's rotation. The desert night wraps around you, quiet and infinite, while 3-Eye Atlas spins tirelessly, a reminder that in the vast expanse of space, motion can be deliberate, precise, and beautiful. And in that silence, you realize that perfection, patience, and elegance can exist not only in the cosmos, but in the quiet moments when you pause to watch, to listen, and to imagine. Hints of metallic patches on its surface reflect light strangely, like hidden messages written across a cosmic canvas. Could they be communication arrays, solar collectors, or something entirely beyond our understanding? Let's lean in closer and imagine that for a moment. You press your palms to the cool metal of the telescope console, feeling the gentle hum of instruments as they record every photon, every flicker of reflected light. Outside, the desert night carries its familiar crispness, blending with the faint scent of mineral dust and distant rock. Somewhere high above, the stars shimmer like sequins, each reflection a possible cipher, a hidden signal waiting to be deciphered. You sip cold coffee, tasting the faint bitterness and a hint of metallic tang, and suddenly it feels perfectly appropriate. A beverage infused with the essence of cosmic mystery. Light glints off surfaces, a secret code, perhaps meant for eyes much wiser than ours. Your imagination stretches across millions of miles, tracing the metallic panels that could be communication arrays. Perhaps they hum imperceptibly in zero gravity, sending out signals that travel through space at light speed, weaving invisible threads between 3-Eye Atlas and distant civilizations. You feel a shiver of both awe and absurdity. Here you are, in a small desert observatory, while unseen networks of technology might be pinging messages across the galaxy as casually as your phone sends texts to your neighbor. Signals hum, wires strum, light whispers in a cosmic drum. The patches gleam in ways that seem deliberate, reflecting sunlight at angles impossible for natural rock. You imagine geometric patterns emerging from the shimmer, triangles, grids, arrays like a secret language written in photons. The absurdity hits you again. A massive spacecraft cruising silently past planets, possibly monitoring Earth, while humans argue over spreadsheets and traffic lights. The universe is both patient and playful, reminding you that scale and intelligence can coexist in a single, quiet moment. Panels align, shadows shine, cosmic messages in design. You picture tiny solar collectors embedded in the surface, quietly siphoning energy from distant stars. Perhaps they store power for centuries, operating with a patience humans can barely fathom. You feel the cool night air on your skin and hear the faint whistle of wind, as though nature itself is harmonizing with the distant hum of alien engineering. Somewhere on the spacecraft, systems might be activating, sensors aligning, machinery coming to life in perfect rhythm, while your heart beats in sync with the imagined cadence of distant circuits. Glimmer bright hidden light, secrets dancing out of sight. Your mind drifts to the absurdities of scale. A probe smaller than your thumbnail might drift past Earth, cataloging cities, forests, oceans, and even the faint electromagnetic buzz of your electronics. You can almost hear a cosmic chuckle at the thought, a creature or machine watching humanity with more patience than we show our own houseplants. You note the faint scratching of pen against paper, the hum of computers, and imagine it all as part of an orchestra, the universe itself accompanying this silent transmission of signals across light years. Wires unseen, lights between, dancing on a darkened screen. You focus on the metallic gleam again, noticing subtle variations in hue and brightness. Perhaps these patches are adaptive, adjusting to incoming solar radiation, or even bending light to remain partially hidden from distant observers. You picture the surface responding like water rippling over rocks, each reflection a deliberate choice. a calculated pause, a tiny performance in the endless theater of space. The absurdity is comforting. Human life is fleeting and chaotic, yet out there, precision and patience stretch across centuries and millions of miles. Reflections play, shadows sway, secrets flicker, drift away. In that stillness, you imagine signals being transmitted and received, like a slow conversation between intelligence far older than our own. Perhaps mathematical constants, physical patterns, or encoded data pulse silently across space, invisible yet precise, understood only by minds that think in eons rather than decades. You feel a gentle thrill as your gaze traces the patterns, imagining the intelligence required to construct, maintain, and operate such a network while drifting silently through interstellar space. Silent hums, hidden drums, messages sent where no one comes. Stepping back, the desert night enfolds you, carrying both stillness and anticipation. You hear the faint rustle of insects, the soft whistle of wind, and the quiet hum of instruments capturing photons bouncing off the ship's surface. The metallic patches continue to shine, teasing with the possibility of understanding, hinting at secrets, sending messages through light, vibration, and the invisible architecture of space itself. You exhale slowly, letting awe and absurdity mingle, realizing that even in the most ordinary moments, the cosmos is humming with unseen, meticulous activity, waiting for those patient enough to notice. Perhaps 3i Atlas was designed to look natural, blending in with space debris. Imagine a masterpiece of engineering, hidden in plain sight, a traveler observing without interfering, and consider the patience required to wait for civilizations like ours to notice. Perhaps 3i Atlas was designed to look natural, blending in with space debris. Imagine a masterpiece of engineering, hidden in plain sight, a traveler observing without interfering, and consider the patience required to wait for civilizations like ours to notice. Let's think about that camouflage for a moment. You lean on the cool metal railing of the telescope platform, feeling the subtle hum of instruments beneath your fingertips. Outside, the desert night stretches endlessly, carrying the faint scent of sage and dry rock. Stars twinkle like scattered gemstones, each one a possible marker on the invisible map of the universe. Somewhere far above, 3i Atlas drifts silently, appearing ordinary, just another fragment of cosmic rubble, yet moving with precision that would make any human engineer sigh in disbelief. Shadows blend, edges bend, a hidden shape the stars commend. The brilliance of such camouflage is in its subtlety. Perhaps the metallic patches reflect just enough light to mimic asteroids or fragments of distant comets. Perhaps its trajectory aligns with expected debris patterns, giving the illusion of randomness. You sip lukewarm coffee and imagine a tiny alien smile behind each reflective panel, amused at the absurdity of humans squinting at data, analyzing motion, and debating the possibilities without ever touching the truth. Outside, the wind brushes your cheek like a whisper, as if nature itself has conspired to keep the secret hidden for centuries. Glint and fade, patterns laid, hidden in the universe's braid. You picture the patience required for such a mission. The object has likely been drifting through interstellar space for centuries, perhaps millennia, waiting for a species capable of observing, calculating, and eventually noticing. You shiver slightly at the thought, inhaling the cool, mineral-scented air. The instruments hum softly, recording tiny variations in light, while you imagine an intelligence on board, calculating patiently, adjusting position, holding back from revealing itself until the right moment. The absurdity of human impatience is humbling. Here we fumble through emails, traffic, and coffee spills, while this Voyager drifts silently through space with infinite patience, camouflage bright. hidden sight, waiting for the curious night. Even the teardrop's shape contributes to its concealment. Smooth curves mimic the natural tumbling of debris. Metallic patches blend with asteroid belts, and reflections trick the eye into seeing randomness. Where there is deliberate design, you imagine tracing your finger along the telescope's monitor, trying to imagine each panel, each facet, each possible probe hidden within the massive hull. Outside, the desert wind scratches softly against rocks, a quiet percussion accompanying your wonder. Subtle gleam, shadowed seam, hiding in a solar dream. You think about the absurdity of perception. Entire civilizations may have overlooked objects like this before, scanning the heavens with insufficient patience or inadequate instruments. You imagine astronomers centuries ago, noting anomalies in passing asteroids, but dismissing them as error. And now, in this quiet observatory, you are among the first to perceive a glimpse of the extraordinary masquerading as ordinary. You smile at the cosmic irony, a masterpiece in plain sight, waiting for minds like yours to notice. Invisible threads, silent treads, whispers echoing overhead. The desert night deepens. You hear the faint rustle of insects, the soft whistle of wind, and the gentle hum of instruments collecting photons. Somewhere out there, beyond the telescope's range, the spacecraft drifts along its calculated course, maintaining the illusion of randomness while subtly gathering information. Perhaps it observes Earth's magnetic fields, atmospheric patterns, or even the faint flicker of human electrical networks. You feel your heartbeat slow in sync with the silent rhythm of its motion, a quiet resonance connecting observer and observed. Blended shade, movements made, secrets in the cosmos laid. You imagine a probe detaching, small and invisible, skimming the edge of the solar system before returning to the mothership, like a bird circling a tree before alighting on a branch. The patience required for such maneuvers stretches your mind, expanding your perception of time and scale. Outside, the desert is calm, the air crisp, and the stars glitter like distant eyes watching along with you. The absurdity of human life, emails, coffee, misplaced keys, feels both hilarious and comforting, in contrast to this vast, deliberate patience, silent drift, cosmic gift, perfection hidden in the rift. As you step back from the telescope and breathe deeply, you feel the hum of wonder settle over you. The object continues its journey, perfectly camouflaged, moving quietly through space, while the universe spins around it. You imagine the intelligence behind its design, patient, meticulous, and utterly serene. In that quiet, you realize that sometimes the most extraordinary things in the universe are those that hide in plain sight, waiting for someone patient enough, observant enough, and curious enough to notice. Unusual carbon dioxide signatures and exposure to extreme radiation hint at artificial shielding or hull materials. Picture delicate systems encased in cosmic armor, quietly surviving millennia as they journey through the void. Let's take a closer look at that chemistry. You lean over the telescope console, feeling the subtle hum of electronics beneath your fingers, while the desert night air drifts across your cheeks, cool and faintly scented with minerals and distant sage. Outside, stars flicker in the endless black, pinpricks of silver light, scattered like sequins on velvet, and between them, Atlas glides silently, its surface an intricate tapestry of chemical traces and reflections, hinting at secrets beyond human comprehension. You sip lukewarm coffee and marvel at the absurdity. Your cup, a few inches across, feels ludicrously tiny against the scale of materials that have survived radiation and vacuum for thousands of years. Shields of light, metals bright, secrets hiding out of sight. The carbon dioxide signature is puzzling. You imagine sensors on board recording and analyzing molecules, protecting delicate systems from the harsh environment of interstellar space. Perhaps microscopic structures twist and flex with every photon, balancing energy absorption with minimal stress. You shiver slightly, feeling the chill of the night air, and marvel at the patience required to maintain such precision over millennia. The absurdity is delicious. Human engineers struggle to insulate spacecraft for a few years. Yet this visitor carries materials and systems that have endured the harshest conditions imaginable. Particles dance, atoms prance, shielding hidden in a glance, radiation from distant stars, solar flares, and cosmic rays bombard the hull constantly. Yet 3I Atlas continues its glide undeterred. You imagine layers of exotic alloys, chemical treatments, and protective coatings designed with intelligence far older than your own. Outside, the desert wind brushes softly, the soft rustle of sand and distant insects, providing a quiet rhythm to the mental symphony of technology and science. You picture the ship rotating slightly, adjusting its orientation, letting some surfaces absorb light while others reflect. A dance of chemistry and physics orchestrated across millennia. Glints reflect, patterns connect, materials strong enough to deflect. Somewhere on its surface, delicate arrays of sensors and instruments peer into space, encased in materials that would crumble under earthly exposure, but endure here effortlessly. You imagine microscopic shields reacting instantaneously to incoming radiation, dispersing energy across surfaces, while other layers provide insulation for systems measuring minute gravitational or electromagnetic anomalies. The absurdity strikes again. Your morning cereal, your coffee mug, your cat, trivial, transient, while this ship survives cosmic bombardment like a knight in silent, polished armor. Layers blend, atoms bend, chemistry working without end. You wonder about the chemical complexity. Perhaps carbon-based compounds are fused with metals or exotic elements, forming materials that respond dynamically to the void. Maybe surfaces regenerate slowly, repairing microfractures from meteoroid impacts, adjusting reflectivity, or releasing stored energy to maintain equilibrium. You feel your pulse slow, imagining the patient intelligence required to design such resilience. The desert night hums quietly around you, harmonizing with the faint electronic murmurs of instruments tracking the object's path. Atoms twist, molecules list, survival hidden in the mist. The subtle brilliance of these materials creates reflections that dance across the telescope screens. You imagine streaks of light bouncing off crystalline surfaces, hinting at hidden structures inside, delicate circuits, or observation systems silently recording cosmic events. The absurdity continues. A massive interstellar traveler, equipped with chemistry beyond human imagination, quietly passing Earth, while we debate trivialities in our offices and kitchens. The juxtaposition brings a wry smile and a gentle awe, reminding you that patience, resilience, and precision exist on scales that dwarf human comprehension. Reflect, protect, energy, collect. Subtle systems, none detect. Even the smallest trace of carbon dioxide or energetic particle becomes a story. Each atom hints at design, endurance, and intelligence, while you stand on a tiny desert plateau, observing light and chemistry from millions of miles away. You feel your mind expand in sympathy with the object's long, deliberate journey, imagining surfaces glowing faintly under solar radiation, systems adjusting in microseconds to prevent damage, while the ship continues its cosmic glide without pause. Signals safe, armor chased, chemical ballet in perfect haste. As you step back and breathe the night air, the desert calm envelopes you. and the hum of the observatory settles into a quiet meditation. 3i Atlas continues, a testament to the subtle brilliance of materials and systems designed to endure what nothing on Earth could survive. The chemistry of survival stretches across space and time, a patient ballet of atoms, molecules, and intelligence, moving quietly, deliberately, and magnificently through the void, leaving you in awe and wonder at both scale and intricacy. This object comes from a region of older stars, where civilizations may have had billions of years to evolve. Imagine intelligence sculpted over eons, now observing a young technological species spinning on a small blue planet. This object comes from a region of older stars, where civilizations may have had billions of years to evolve. Imagine intelligence sculpted over eons, now observing a young technological species spinning on a small blue planet. Let's drift into that thought for a moment. You lean on the cold metal of the telescope console, feeling the subtle vibration of electronics beneath your hands, each hum a quiet echo of light years traveled. Outside, the desert night wraps around you, crisp and still, carrying faint hints of mineral dust and the soft scent of sagebrush. Stars glimmer above in intricate patterns, ancient beacons in a galaxy older than human imagination. Somewhere far beyond, 3i Atlas drifts, originating from regions where stars have burned and died, where civilizations may have emerged and vanished long before Earth even had life. Ancient glow, stars below, secrets older than we know. You imagine intelligence forming over eons, minds stretching across millennia, patience accumulated over billions of years. Their technology may have evolved in ways incomprehensible to you, adapting to supernova shocks, cosmic radiation, and the subtle dance of gravitational currents. You sip lukewarm coffee, tasting faint bitterness mingled with desert air, and the absurdity strikes you. A single spacecraft, crafted by minds older than your planet itself, silently observing your tiny routines, your emails, your morning routines, completely indifferent yet attentive. Time bends, space extends, wisdom curves, and never ends. As 3i Atlas passes through interstellar space, it carries a record of its origins, encoded in material, shape, and trajectory. Perhaps subtle inscriptions exist, molecules arranged in patterns akin to writing, carrying history and knowledge, invisible to our instruments. You imagine the object's metallic gleam reflecting distant starlight, as if winking at the tiny observers on Earth, both present and yet absent. Outside, the wind scratches softly against rocks, a gentle accompaniment to the hum of machinery inside the observatory, each vibration syncing subtly with your own heartbeat. Lights afar, cosmic spar, intelligence stretched beyond a star. Consider the absurd patience required to traverse light years while monitoring planets that might not yet even have technology. The object may have passed countless worlds, cataloging life and observing civilizations in their infancy, patiently waiting for the right moment to notice Earth. You shiver slightly, inhaling the cool, mineral-rich air, and imagine alien engineers, if such a term is even accurate, tuning sensors and adjusting trajectory with the same care a musician uses to tune a delicate instrument. Silent drift, secrets lift, cosmic patience as a gift. You think about how differently time would feel to intelligence born in such regions. Millennia might pass in moments, stars living and dying in lifetimes shorter than their perspective. Every calculation, every observation could be leisurely, deliberate, and yet precise beyond comprehension. You glance at the telescope monitor, tracing the arc of 3i Atlas, and feel a strange kinship across time and space, both observer and observed, caught in the gentle rhythm of attention and wonder. Stars align, patterns sign, ancient minds that intertwine. Outside, the desert is quiet, punctuated only by faint wind and distant insects. You imagine the cosmic environment where the object originated. Older stars with slow-burning luminosity, planets long dead or evolved, civilizations sculpted by patience and adversity. Perhaps the object carries the cumulative wisdom of 100 lost worlds, each contributing a fragment of insight to the trajectory you now observe. The absurdity is humbling. Your coffee cup, your notebook, your small human concerns are insignificant, yet they exist within this vast choreography of intelligence and observation. Cosmic eyes, patient skies, watching as a small world tries. The more you contemplate, the more awe grows. Imagine intelligence evolving not over centuries but eons, calculating not for profit or survival, but for understanding, observing, not for interference, but for knowledge. The object's passage past the sun, planets and moons seems almost like a deliberate dance, a cosmic conversation spanning billions of years, a reminder that patience, scale, and wisdom exist on planes far beyond human comprehension. Ages spin, galaxies grin, secrets held in circuits thin. As you breathe deeply, the desert night settling around you, you feel connected to both the object and its origin. It comes from regions of the galaxy older than most of Earth's continents, carrying with it the weight of ancient knowledge and silent observation. You exhale slowly, letting wonder wash over you, understanding that intelligence can manifest in ways both deliberate and patient, watching young species evolve and leaving subtle trails for those patient enough to notice. In that quiet, you realize the vastness of time and space, and your own moment of observation, however fleeting, is part of the continuing story of the cosmos. 11. A delicate dance near Mars. NASA predicts its closest approach to Mars on October 2nd, within 18 million miles. Picture the careful choreography of cosmic mechanics, as if the universe itself is conducting a silent ballet. Let's slow down to consider that cosmic dance. You lean over the telescope console, fingertips brushing the cool metal, feeling the gentle vibration of machinery, quietly recording every photon. Outside, the desert night stretches infinitely, carrying the faint scent of sage, dry stone, and cool air that hints at frost, forming unseen on distant rocks. Stars twinkle overhead, each pinprick of light, a note in a silent symphony of gravitational motion. Somewhere out there, 3-Eye Atlas is weaving past Mars, a silent dancer tracing arcs and loops with millimeter-perfect precision. Planets spin, moons begin, cosmic rhythm under unseen skin. You imagine the trajectory itself, curves so subtle they might go unnoticed by casual observation, yet they reflect meticulous planning or natural harmony that rivals any human choreography. You feel the absurdity of human scale. Your own morning commute, your coffee mug, your cat tipping over a pen seem comically trivial in comparison. Meanwhile, this enormous object maneuvers past a planet millions of miles wide with elegance and grace, every micro-adjustment invisible to our eyes, but calculated with perfect precision. Glide and sway, night's ballet underway, shadows gently play. As the spacecraft nears Mars, the desert wind brushes softly against your cheek, carrying a sense of anticipation. You can almost hear the hum of the universe, the subtle whisper of gravitation, bending space-time in perfect arcs. Each particle of dust in the observatory seems to vibrate with the silent motion of the object's passage. You sip lukewarm coffee, tasting the faint bitterness, and chuckle at the thought. A massive interstellar visitor, navigating planetary orbits with more elegance than any human figure skater. entirely unconcerned with your existence. Orbits thread, starlight spread, cosmic choreography overhead. The distance from Mars, 18 million miles, feels incomprehensible. You imagine the object gliding past satellites, moons, and magnetic fields, each influence accounted for with precision far beyond any human spacecraft. Perhaps tiny sensors track Martian winds, crustal shifts, or magnetic anomalies, gathering data without interference, while the ship continues its elegant arc. You feel a quiet thrill at the thought, like watching a tightrope walker balance on a wire stretched across continents. Only this wire spans millions of miles and passes planets instead of streetlights. Glisten bright, angles right, shadows dancing in soft night. You picture the silent ballet from Mars's perspective. The red planet watches a teardrop-shaped traveler sweep past in perfect timing, avoiding collision, avoiding disturbance, leaving nothing but faint traces of energy and light. The object's path may even be calculated to optimize gravitational assists, subtly picking up velocity without appearing to break a cosmic rule. Outside, the desert stretches endlessly, and you feel both infinitesimal and intimately connected to the elegant motion unfolding far above your head. Twirl and spin, quiet grin, unseen patterns tucked within. The absurdity and precision of this movement strike you. Human spacecraft struggle with minor course corrections, and yet here is a massive interstellar visitor, operating flawlessly, seemingly aware of the smallest perturbations and adjusting accordingly. You imagine intelligence, or the perfect alignment of natural forces, balancing every rotation, every tilt, every acceleration like a choreographer nudging dancers into place. The night hums quietly with possibility, your heartbeat syncing to the rhythm of planetary motions and cosmic nudges. Paths align, forces bind, elegance shaped by mind or kind. Even the tiniest Martian moons contribute to the ballet. Phobos and Deimos tug imperceptibly at the spacecraft, and it adjusts without fanfare. You picture light glinting from metallic surfaces, reflections shifting as the angle changes. Each photon, a silent message, in a language only the universe can understand. The absurdity is comforting. While humans fret over deadlines, traffic, and trivial inconveniences, this interstellar visitor operates with patience measured in millennia, its dance an example of harmony, balance, and precise timing. Silent sweep, planets keep, cosmic secrets theirs to keep. As you step back and inhale the mineral-scented night air, the desert around you seems to expand infinitely, matching the scale of this celestial choreography. You watch faint traces of light on the monitor, imagining arcs, rotations, and curves calculated and executed with unimaginable patience. The spacecraft continues its delicate dance near Mars, moving with a grace that seems almost sentient, a reminder that in the vast expanse of the cosmos, motion can be deliberate, precise, and quietly magnificent. And in that stillness, you understand that you are witnessing not just an object passing by, but a perfect performance, a cosmic ballet choreographed across millions of miles and countless years. NASA predicts its closest approach to Mars on October 2nd, within 18 million miles. Picture the careful choreography of cosmic mechanics, as if the universe itself is conducting a silent ballet. Let's slow down to consider that cosmic dance. You lean over the telescope console, fingertips brushing the cool metal, feeling the gentle vibration of machinery quietly recording every photon. Outside, the desert night stretches infinitely, carrying the faint scent of sage, dry stone, and cool air that hints at frost, forming unseen on distant rocks. Stars twinkle overhead, each pinprick of light a note in a silent symphony of gravitational motion. Somewhere out there, 3I Atlas is weaving past Mars, a silent dancer, tracing arcs and loops with millimeter-perfect precision. Planets spin, moons begin, cosmic rhythm under unseen skin. You imagine the trajectory itself, curves so subtle they might go unnoticed by casual observation, yet they reflect meticulous planning or natural harmony that rivals any human choreography. You feel the absurdity of human scale, your own morning commute, your coffee mug, your cat tipping over a pen, seem comically trivial in comparison. Meanwhile, this enormous object maneuvers past a planet millions of miles wide with elegance and grace, every micro-adjustment invisible to our eyes, but calculated with perfect precision. Glide and sway, night's ballet underway, shadows gently play. As the spacecraft nears Mars, the desert wind brushes softly against your cheek, carrying a sense of anticipation. You can almost hear the hum of the universe, the subtle whisper of gravitation bending space-time in perfect arcs. Each particle of dust in the observatory seems to vibrate with the silent motion of the object's passage. You sip lukewarm coffee, tasting the faint bitterness, and chuckle at the thought. A massive interstellar visitor, navigating planetary orbits with more elegance than any human figure skater, entirely unconcerned with your existence. Orbits thread, starlight spread, cosmic choreography overhead. The distance from Mars, 18 million miles, feels incomprehensible. You imagine the object gliding past satellites, moons, and magnetic fields, each influence accounted for with precision, far beyond any human spacecraft. Perhaps tiny sensors track Martian winds, crustal shifts, or magnetic anomalies, gathering data without interference, while the ship continues its elegant arc. You feel a quiet thrill at the thought, like watching a tightrope walker balance on a wire stretched across continents. Only this wire spans millions of miles and passes planets instead of streetlights. Glisten bright, angles right, shadows dancing in soft night. You picture the silent ballet from Mars's perspective. The red planet watches a teardrop-shaped traveler sweep past in perfect timing, avoiding collision, avoiding disturbance, leaving nothing but faint traces of energy and light. The object's path may even be calculated to optimize gravitational assists, subtly picking up velocity without appearing to break a cosmic rule. Outside, the desert stretches endlessly, and you feel both infinitesimal and intimately connected to the elegant motion unfolding far above your head. Twirl and spin, quiet grin, unseen patterns tucked within. The absurdity and precision of this movement strike you. Human spacecraft struggle with minor course corrections, and yet here is a massive interstellar visitor, operating flawlessly, seemingly aware of the smallest perturbations and adjusting accordingly. You imagine intelligence or the perfect alignment of natural forces balancing every rotation, every tilt, every acceleration, like a choreographer nudging dancers into place. The night hums quietly with possibility, your heartbeat syncing to the rhythm of planetary motions and cosmic nudges. Paths align, forces bind, elegance shaped by mind or kind. Even the tiniest Martian moons contribute to the ballet. Phobos and Deimos tug imperceptibly at the spacecraft, and it adjusts without fanfare. You picture light glinting from metallic surfaces, reflections shifting as the angle changes. Each photon, a silent message, in a language only the universe can understand. The absurdity is comforting. While humans fret over deadlines, traffic, and trivial inconveniences, this interstellar visitor operates with patience measured in millennia, its dance an example of harmony, balance, and precise timing. Silent sweep, planets keep. Cosmic secrets theirs to keep. As you step back and inhale the mineral-scented night air, the desert around you seems to expand infinitely, matching the scale of this celestial choreography. You watch faint traces of light on the monitor, imagining arcs, rotations, and curves, calculated and executed with unimaginable patience. The spacecraft continues its delicate dance near Mars, moving with a grace that seems almost sentient, a reminder that in the vast expanse of the cosmos, motion can be deliberate, precise, and quietly magnificent. And in that stillness, you understand that you are witnessing not just an object passing by, but a perfect performance, a cosmic ballet, choreographed across millions of miles and countless years. Hidden behind the sun's glare, 3I Atlas may send smaller probes toward Earth. Imagine tiny, invisible scouts carried by gravity and solar wind, quietly mapping our world while we go about our routines. Let's take a moment to picture that. You lean over the telescope console, feeling the low hum of electronics, vibrating softly under your fingertips. Outside, the desert night is cool, carrying the faint scent of stone and dry sage, punctuated by distant insects chirping softly. Above, the stars glitter in their ancient patterns, almost like sequins on a vast, dark curtain. Somewhere beyond, hidden in the glare of the sun, miniature probes detach silently from the teardrop-shaped object, invisible to the naked eye, gliding gracefully toward Earth. You sip lukewarm coffee, the bitterness mingling oddly with the awe stirring in your chest. Tiny wings, silent things, drifting under cosmic strings. The probes themselves are marvels of engineering. Perhaps no larger than a finger, each one rides solar winds and subtle gravitational currents, adjusting course without propulsion, relying entirely on the precise calculations of the mothership. You imagine them skimming past asteroids, slipping between planets, invisible yet deliberate, each carrying instruments designed to observe, record, and relay data without ever drawing attention. The absurdity hits you. Humans can barely track a weather balloon, yet these scouts move undetected across millions of miles of space, glisten small, shadows fall, silent scouts unseen by all. As the probes approach the inner solar system, Earth becomes their focus. You picture them mapping oceans, tracing currents, noting electromagnetic fluctuations, perhaps even scanning our communications signals or observing city lights from orbit. The precision is mesmerizing, every adjustment calculated to avoid collisions, every sensor activated at exactly the right moment. You feel a gentle thrill imagining these tiny observers, floating silently, gathering information as humans sleep, work, and commute, completely unaware of their presence. Streams of light, hidden flight, cosmic secrets just out of sight. Back in the observatory, you trace lines on the monitor that could represent their trajectories, imagining invisible threads connecting them to the mothership. Each probe is a whisper in the void, subtle and unobtrusive, yet carrying intelligence across millions of miles. The night air brushes against your cheek, faintly cold, as you picture the probes adjusting to solar radiation, balancing heat and orientation like leaves floating on an interstellar river. You chuckle softly at the thought. These tiny scouts might be observing your coffee cup, your cat curling on the floor, or your notes scattered across a desk, recording minutiae you'd never think significant. Glide unseen, currents keen, stealthy travelers in the in-between. The universe itself seems to hum in response. You imagine the mothership, orchestrating this deployment with patience measured in centuries, guiding each probe with a silent hand. The absurdity and poetry of it strike you simultaneously. A single vessel, crafting scouts smaller than your fingernail, sending them across space to observe a fledgling technological species, while you, a tiny human in a desert observatory, are privy to the unfolding plan. The instruments hum along, electrons dancing in harmony with your imagination, tracking light that hints at presence without revealing form, tides of light, hidden might, observation in quiet flight. You picture the probes passing Venus and Mars with the same precision, adjusting subtly for gravitational pulls, solar winds, and electromagnetic fields. Perhaps some pause in orbit, studying planetary surfaces, while others continue on to Earth. The complexity is staggering. A coordinated fleet of miniature scouts, each performing tasks with patience, precision, and elegance that dwarfs anything humanity has achieved. Outside, the desert stretches endlessly, silent and still, punctuated only by distant nocturnal sounds, as if even Earth itself holds its breath in awe. Whispered flight, veiled in night, patience measured in pure light. You reflect on the absurdity of our routines. Traffic jams, morning coffee, missed deadlines, all occurring while these scouts drift imperceptibly through the solar system. You can almost see them adjusting orientation, collecting photons, measuring magnetic flux, and then gliding onward without ever drawing attention. Your mind stretches across the impossibly vast scales of space, time, and technology, and the desert night hums softly around you in quiet accompaniment. Silent sweep, shadows creep, data gathered while we sleep. As you exhale slowly and step back from the console, the vision of the tiny scouts lingers. They drift, guided by the mothership, observing Earth with meticulous care, undetected and patient, weaving an invisible network of observation across the inner solar system. The desert wind carries its subtle, mineral scent. The night sky stretches endlessly above, and you realize the universe holds mysteries that operate on scales and levels of patience far beyond human comprehension. And in that quiet, you understand, sometimes the smallest things, unseen and unnoticed, carry the most profound intelligence. Any civilization capable of interstellar navigation would possess computing power beyond imagination. Picture algorithms running for centuries, calculating trajectories with a precision that borders on divine patience. Let's dwell on that idea for a moment. You lean over the telescope console, fingertips brushing the cool, humming metal as instruments silently record photons bouncing off the distant object. Outside, the desert night is crisp and still, carrying the faint mineral scent of stone and the subtle aroma of sagebrush. Stars above glitter like sequins scattered across infinite black velvet, each one a silent witness to the meticulous calculations unfolding light years away. Somewhere in the vast void, Atlas is guided not only by physics, but by computations so advanced they make every human supercomputer seem like a child's abacus. Numbers weave, photons cleave, calculations quietly conceive. You imagine the algorithms themselves, running continuously, adjusting trajectories, compensating for gravity, radiation, and solar winds. Perhaps each tiny adjustment is executed with precision measured in nanoseconds, every decision influenced by centuries of accumulated data. You sip lukewarm coffee, tasting faint bitterness mingled with the desert night, and chuckle softly. Here you are, a human marveling at a spacecraft whose computing power dwarfs your entire planet's technological efforts, silently orchestrating a ballet across millions of miles of space. Patterns spin, codes begin, cosmic logic deep within. The absurdity of scale strikes you, algorithms running for centuries, adjusting variables you cannot even name, all to guide a single object past planets, moons, and solar winds. Perhaps the system predicts planetary rotations decades in advance, calculates minute gravitational perturbations, and adapts continuously, like a chess master anticipating moves centuries ahead. You can feel your own heart synchronize with the rhythm of the universe, the subtle vibration of machinery beneath your fingertips, echoing the unseen pulse of computation, guiding the teardrop-shaped visitor. Circuits hum, calculations drum, patience measured in the sum. You picture delicate subsystems within the spacecraft, coordinating hundreds or thousands of micro-adjustments simultaneously. Each instruction, each tiny command, a note in a symphony of interstellar navigation. Outside, the desert stretches infinitely, silent, except for the occasional rustle of sand and faint insect chirps. The absurdity is delicious. Humans struggle to manage a single satellite, yet here exists a vessel operating across light years, guided by algorithms that have endured longer than entire human civilizations. Light threads, logic spreads, trajectories traced with careful threads. Imagine sensors gathering data from gravitational waves, cosmic radiation, and solar winds, feeding that information into computations that adapt in real time. Perhaps energy flows along superconducting circuits, bending and distributing across processors designed to withstand millennia. You feel the cool desert air on your cheeks, smelling faint ozone and dust, and realize that even in this stillness, the universe itself seems to pulse in rhythm with these ancient algorithms. Numbers bend, forces send, intelligence without end. You laugh softly at the absurdity. A civilization patient enough to run calculations for centuries, ensuring every movement is precise, deliberate, and undetectable. Perhaps they adjust for fluctuations in stellar output, tiny gravitational nudges from passing asteroids, or the minuscule magnetic field variations of planets they have yet to reach. Outside, the stars twinkle silently, each a marker of time and space stretching far beyond your comprehension. Your fingers trace lines on the telescope monitor, imagining each calculation as a filament in a massive web of interstellar foresight. Circuits gleam, processors dream, cosmic navigation supreme. Even the concept of error seems irrelevant. A civilization capable of such computation would anticipate deviations before they occur, counteracting disturbances before they could even affect trajectory. You imagine their thinking not as a single moment, but as a continuous flow, centuries long, across circuits and subsystems that adapt and respond without pause. The desert air is still, the night calm, and you feel a quiet awe as your mind stretches to grasp the depth of intelligence required to orchestrate such a journey. Algorithms weave, paths achieve, mastery beyond what we perceive. As you step back from the console and inhale the crisp, mineral-scented air, the immensity of it sinks in. 3. Atlas glides across interstellar space, guided by computations that have patiently unfolded for centuries. Outside, the desert night hums softly in accompaniment. Stars glint overhead, and you understand that intelligence can manifest not in loud declarations, but in silent, continuous mastery, calculated with patience, precision, and quiet elegance. In this moment, you feel both infinitesimal and intimately connected to the vast, computational rhythm of the cosmos. Unlike our fears of invasion, 3I Atlas avoids threatening trajectories. Imagine intelligence that values knowledge over conquest, observing quietly and thoughtfully, as though the cosmos itself has taught restraint. Let's dwell on that idea. You lean against the telescope console, fingertips brushing the cool metal, feeling the subtle hum of electronics as instruments record photons from the distant visitor. Outside, the desert night stretches in stillness, carrying the faint scent of sage and mineral-rich soil. The stars above glitter like scattered sequins, and you imagine 3I Atlas drifting silently past planets, avoiding collisions, carefully calculating every motion to minimize impact on nearby celestial bodies. Even its vast scale does not translate into aggression. It moves with patience, respect, and deliberation. Gentle sweep, shadows keep. Intelligence neither rash nor steep. You picture the intelligence guiding it, centuries or millennia in the making, choosing observation over interference. Each maneuver is precise, avoiding disruption of orbital patterns, gravitational fields, and magnetic currents. You sip lukewarm coffee, tasting faint bitterness mingled with desert air, and smile at the absurdity. Here you are, a human, pondering the intentions of a massive interstellar visitor, while a cat might be knocking over a pencil on your desk, unaware of the quiet diplomacy unfolding above. Currents glide, forces bide, wisdom flowing deep inside. The visitor's patience seems infinite. Unlike human endeavors, which often rush to dominate or control, 3i Atlas moves with deliberation, mapping planetary surfaces and cosmic patterns without interference. You imagine delicate sensors taking measurements, tiny instruments capturing photons and electromagnetic fluctuations, while the object's massive form floats calmly through the void. Outside, the desert wind whispers, carrying faint mineral scents that mingle with the subtle hum of the observatory's instruments, creating a rhythm that mirrors the gentle glide of the object itself. Silent drift, soft and swift, curiosity the only gift. You reflect on the contrast between human perception and interstellar reality. Whereas we often approach new environments with fear or aggression, this intelligence seems guided by observation, analysis, and quiet curiosity. It avoids paths that would disturb planetary systems, maintaining an elegance that feels almost moral, a cosmic etiquette etched into its trajectory. You imagine the absurdity, humans worrying about alien invasions, while the universe itself demonstrates a patient, non-interfering curiosity, glinting light, motion slight, knowledge gained without a fight. Even the smallest adjustment in trajectory reflects deliberation. Perhaps it nudges slightly to compensate for solar winds or planetary gravity, ensuring nothing is accidentally disturbed. You picture it passing near Mars and Venus, sliding past moons and magnetic fields, each maneuver calculated to minimize impact and maximize data collection. Outside, the desert night is still, punctuated by distant insect chirps, the faint whisper of wind, and the low hum of instruments, all combining into a meditation on patience, precision, and deliberate observation. Trails align, stars shine, cosmic ethics by design. You consider the absurdity of scale and patience. A civilization capable of such precise navigation over light years is unlikely to value conquest in the way humanity often does. Instead, knowledge, curiosity, and observation guide its decisions. You imagine tiny probes deploying quietly, mapping Earth's atmosphere, oceans, and electromagnetic patterns, all while humanity carries on obliviously, caught in daily routines that seem frantic in comparison. Soft arcs trace, patterns lace, intelligence in silent grace. The notion of peaceful observation also brings a calm, almost meditative quality to your thoughts. Unlike humans, who often equate power with interference, 3i Atlas demonstrates that intelligence can act without coercion, that observation need not involve domination, and that patience itself can be a guiding principle. You breathe slowly, inhaling the crisp desert air, feeling the rhythm of this silent journey align with the gentle beat of your own heart. Quiet glide, wisdom wide, cosmic respect without pride. As you step back from the telescope and absorb the night, the vastness of the desert and the stars above mirrors the deliberate calm of the object itself. 3i Atlas continues along its careful path, avoiding threats, observing thoughtfully, and silently gathering knowledge. The desert wind hums softly against your skin. The stars twinkle like distant witnesses, and you feel the serene satisfaction of understanding sometimes. Intelligence does not conquer, it simply watches, and in watching, it teaches patience to those who notice. The gentle acceleration patterns suggest propulsion without chemical explosions. Picture a craft that glides through space in near silence, leaving no trace of its passage, respecting the delicate balance of planetary systems it visits. Let's linger on that idea for a moment. You lean against the telescope console, fingertips tracing the cool metal, feeling the subtle vibration of electronics, capturing every photon, reflecting from the distant object. Outside, the desert night is crisp and still, carrying the faint scent of mineral dust and dry sage. Stars stretch endlessly overhead, pinpricks of light scattered across the black velvet of space. Somewhere far beyond, 3i Atlas glides silently, its motion imperceptible except to the most precise instruments, moving with an elegance and restraint that seems almost conscious. Silent glide, cosmic tide, energy flowing side by side. You imagine the mechanics of this propulsion. No roaring engines, no bursts of exhaust, only subtle adjustments in velocity and orientation. Perhaps electromagnetic forces or subtle photon pressure push it gently along, like a paper sail catching a whisper of wind. You sip lukewarm coffee, tasting the faint bitterness mingled with desert air, and smile at the absurdity. Humans clumsily launch rockets with booming explosions, while this massive interstellar traveler moves across millions of miles with the quiet grace of a ballet dancer stepping on soft snow. Currents bend, motions send, systems glide without end. As it passes near planets, the clean propulsion becomes even more remarkable. You picture delicate adjustments compensating for gravitational tugs from Mars and Venus, subtle rotations correcting trajectory, all without disturbing moons, rings, or orbital paths. The absurdity strikes again. Humans fuss over the tiniest error in spacecraft navigation, while 3i Atlas operates with a precision that seems effortless. Outside, the desert wind brushes your cheeks, and distant insects hum softly, their tiny sounds echoing the gentle rhythm of the object's silent voyage. Glinting path, silent math, energy flowing in a quiet bath. You imagine the inside of the spacecraft, delicate arrays of sensors, instruments, and energy collectors, all operating without noise, without combustion, without heat, to disrupt the surrounding vacuum. Perhaps tiny adjustments in magnetic fields or light pressure provide propulsion, invisible yet precise. You feel your heartbeat synchronize with the imagined pulse of the object, the desert night aligning with its slow, deliberate rhythm. There is a strange comfort in realizing that intelligence can move without brute force, that even motion across the vast void can be gentle and respectful. Vectors shift, currents lift, motion soft as a feathered drift. The smooth, silent glide is both absurd and magnificent. You imagine Earth-based observers detecting only a faint signature, unaware of the elegant orchestration happening millions of miles above. Perhaps the craft's passage avoids collisions with even the smallest meteoroids or dust clouds, each minute interaction anticipated and accounted for by systems designed for millennia-long endurance. You laugh softly at the thought. While humanity struggles to coordinate traffic lights, here exists an interstellar traveler navigating cosmic highways with the precision of a maestro, conducting a symphony. Push and pull, subtle rule, cosmic ballet without fuel. You think about the patience required for such movement. Every micrometer of acceleration must be calculated, every vector aligned to preserve stability and trajectory. You feel a strange kinship, imagining yourself aboard a tiny observation pod floating near the craft, able to see the silent ballet in motion. No vibrations, no combustion, just calculated glides across the solar system, leaving only faint whispers of energy behind. The desert night hums softly, your ears catching the faint echo of electronics, tracking the object's path, synchronizing subtly with your breathing. Photon breeze, cosmic ease, gliding past worlds with expertise. The elegance extends beyond movement. Its clean propulsion allows observation without interference, enabling probes or instruments to map nearby planets without disturbing atmospheres, magnetic fields, or surface conditions. You imagine the absurdity of the comparison: humans creating sonic booms, launching rockets with explosive chaos, while this immense interstellar traveler drifts silently, leaving planets entirely untouched. Outside, the desert air is still, the stars shimmer overhead, and your mind stretches across the vastness of space and time, imagining forces so subtle yet precise that they border on the poetic. Trails unseen, motion clean, harmony in every scene. As you step back from the telescope, breathing deeply, the desert night surrounds you in calm silence. 3i Atlas continues its journey, gliding with perfect balance, leaving no mark, disturbing no orbit, and moving with patience, intelligence, and elegance. The wind brushes your face softly, the stars glint overhead, and you feel the strange, comforting lesson of its motion. In a universe that often seems chaotic, some intelligence moves quietly, gracefully, and respectfully, demonstrating that even the grandest journeys can leave no trace but wonder. Strange objects may have visited our solar system before, unnoticed. Imagine astronomers decades ago glimpsing something they couldn't explain. Hints of long-term surveillance, quietly recording humanity's rise. Let's take a moment to step into that scene. You lean against the cool metal of the telescope console, fingertips brushing the faint vibration of electronics as data streams across monitors. Outside, the desert night wraps around you, crisp and still, scented faintly with minerals and dry sage. Stars glitter overhead, pinpricks of light scattered across endless black velvet. Somewhere beyond the veil of current observation, distant objects, teardrop-shaped, metallic, or otherwise may have glided silently past Earth, leaving only the subtlest traces for careful observers to notice. You sip lukewarm coffee, tasting faint bitterness mingled with dust, and smile at the absurdity. Humans oblivious to ancient visitors, unaware their every measurement might be silently recorded. Whispers past, shadows cast, histories hidden in the vast. You imagine astronomers of the past night after night, tirelessly scanning skies with telescopes barely adequate for the task, catching anomalies they could not explain. A flash here, a glint there, recorded in notebooks that now seem quaint, almost naive. Perhaps some dismissed these oddities as equipment glitches, atmospheric interference, or simple error. Yet, in the quiet of their observations, subtle records of interstellar travelers accumulated, unnoticed by all but the most persistent. The absurdity humbles you, a human blinking in wonder at data that might hint at millennia of surveillance, and yet unaware of its significance. Light bends, stories blend, hints of what might ascend. The scale of time and observation is staggering. These anomalies could have been occurring long before humans began tracking comets systematically. Perhaps every few decades, a strange object drifted through the inner solar system, slipping past Mars, Earth, and Venus without disruption, recording patterns, cataloging activity, leaving behind only the faintest fingerprints on instruments or photographic plates. You imagine the patience required to track such patterns across decades, as if intelligence from far older stars had been quietly watching. waiting for civilizations to reach a stage worthy of observation. Trails unknown, glimmers shown, secrets quietly overgrown. Outside, the desert night hums with calm, punctuated by the occasional rustle of insects and the faint whistle of the wind across rocks. You imagine an early astronomer squinting at a telescope eyepiece, noting a blip on a photographic plate, scratching notes onto paper, the smell of ink and metal faint in the air. Perhaps that note, that observation, is part of a long chain of unnoticed surveillance, evidence of tiny interstellar scouts passing silently overhead. You feel the absurdity of human routines, juxtaposed with cosmic patience. We fret over schedules, weather, and deadlines, while interstellar visitors glide gracefully, tracking our evolution and progress without interference. Fleeting light, hidden sight, mysteries dancing in the night. You picture a silent log accumulating in space. Coordinates, electromagnetic readings, subtle gravitational anomalies, and patterns too faint to be recognized as intentional. Perhaps multiple visits occurred, across centuries, leaving only whispers in the data and occasional unexplained observations. The desert wind scratches lightly against the telescope dome, and you imagine it as a soft accompaniment to the long-term vigilance of these silent travelers. The absurdity of time stretches your mind. Decades pass for humans, centuries for the visitors, all converging in the quiet moments when observation meets comprehension. Signals drift, histories sift, cosmic patience in a gift. Even the faintest anomaly hints at intelligence, precision, and curiosity that dwarfs human understanding. You imagine decades of astronomers logging observations, comparing data, and pondering mysteries that modern science may only now be beginning to decode. Perhaps they glimpsed reflections off metallic surfaces, subtle movements, inconsistent with known celestial mechanics, hints of trajectories too deliberate to be random. Outside, the desert is still. Stars glint overhead, and the quiet hum of the observatory mirrors the patient passage of these historical visitors. Shadows trace, past embrace, objects moving without a face. You reflect on the absurdity of human perspective. History may contain records of interstellar observation, unnoticed, dismissed, or misinterpreted. Yet, in those glimpses, hints remain, scattered across plates, notes, and memories, whispering of intelligence patient enough to wait centuries. You inhale the cool, mineral-scented air, feeling the weight of time, distance, and scale. And in that quiet, you understand that perhaps humanity has long been observed, not disrupted, but recorded, an unknowing participant in a cosmic chronicle, patiently monitored from beyond the stars. If these visitors are watching, they witness the complexity of Earth, cities glowing like jewels, satellites tracing our progress, and species balancing on the edge of technological adolescence. Imagine the curiosity of minds older than our stars, studying our small triumphs and missteps. Let's take a moment to picture that observation. You lean on the cool metal railing of the telescope platform, fingertips tracing the subtle vibration of electronics, capturing photons from a planet far below. Outside, the desert night is crisp, carrying faint scents of mineral dust and dry sage. Stars twinkle above like sequins scattered across a black velvet canvas. Somewhere beyond the sun's glare, 3I Atlas, or perhaps the probes it has deployed, glides silently, cataloging data, watching human civilization, as if reading an evolving story, one scene at a time. Lights flicker, wires hum, Earth's pulse quietly strum. You imagine a city at night from orbit, clusters of light outlining streets, neighborhoods, and industrial zones, each glow a story, a signal of human endeavor. Satellites trace orbital paths, signaling communication, navigation, observation. Perhaps a tiny probe notes the delicate pattern of electricity pulsing through a network, or the subtle flicker of neon advertising along boulevards. You shiver slightly, feeling the absurdity, an intelligence older than the galaxy, observing every nuance, every signal, while we worry about traffic jams and coffee temperature. Twinkling dots, circuits plot, civilization mapped without a thought. From high above, human activity becomes a tapestry of movement. Cars moving like veins across the urban landscape, rivers glittering in the sunlight, and tiny organisms ourselves, scurrying with ambition and curiosity. You sip lukewarm coffee, tasting the faint bitterness mingled with desert air, and picture these interstellar observers taking note of successes and errors alike. Perhaps they record innovations, accidental disasters, cultural quirks, or patterns of cooperation and conflict. The absurdity is comforting. A universe so vast can still be attentive, patient, and curious. Signals glide, currents ride, data captured in a cosmic tide. You imagine small probes drifting through orbit, adjusting silently for gravitational pulls, solar radiation, and magnetic fields. Perhaps they measure atmospheric changes, satellite orbits, and even subtle electronic signatures, all without disturbing a single human routine. Outside, the desert wind whispers against rocks, and the faint hum of the telescope mirrors the rhythmic, imperceptible pulse of observation. You feel a strange kinship. Just as these visitors watch patiently, you watch silently, instruments in hand, connecting across vast distances in a shared experience of curiosity. Lights dance, shadows prance, humanity under silent glance. The concept of technological adolescence strikes you. Earth is young, in cosmic terms, a species experimenting with flight, energy, and communication. You imagine alien minds studying the unfolding patterns, comparing our learning curve to civilizations far older than our Sunday. Perhaps they find our triumphs charming, our missteps amusing, and our persistence intriguing. The absurdity of human self-importance softens. Our mistakes, chaos, and daily routines are tiny in scale, yet perhaps entirely captivating to those who observe with patience. Currents trace, circuits race, patterns formed in silent space. Even mundane human actions might be fascinating. A satellite adjusting its orbit, a power grid coming online, city lights dimming as night passes, or storms swirling over oceans. You picture probes capturing each subtle variation, cataloging behaviors with precision, without judgment, simply recording and learning. Outside, the desert is still, punctuated by faint insect chirps, the occasional rustle of wind, and the soft echo of your own breathing, a quiet accompaniment to the vast and silent observation unfolding millions of miles above. Gleam and glow, currents flow, tiny details travelers know. The thought stretches your mind. These visitors, older than stars, may measure patience differently, perceiving centuries as moments. They watch without interference, waiting for civilizations to reach stages of complexity worthy of their attention. You imagine a small probe pausing to observe a festival, a city skyline, or the simple movement of humans across streets and fields, cataloging patterns imperceptible to our own understanding. The absurdity and wonder mix, human trivialities seen as data, ordinary life recorded as part of a cosmic study, threads of light, cosmic sight, mapping patterns day and night. As you breathe in the crisp desert air, the desert night wrapping around you, you feel a quiet connection. You and these visitors share a moment of observation, one in human scale, the other in eons and light years. The city lights below flicker in miniature brilliance, satellites trace their invisible paths, and somewhere in the void, 3i Atlas watches patiently, collecting data, recording patterns, and observing humanity with curiosity, restraint, and quiet wonder. And in that shared silence, you feel both infinitesimal and profoundly connected, a tiny observer in a vast cosmic web of intelligence. 3i Atlas carries knowledge and technology accumulated over millions of years. Picture a library moving through the void, its contents revealing the triumphs, errors, and discoveries of civilizations far older than ours. Let's imagine that for a moment. You lean against the cool metal console of the telescope, fingertips tracing the subtle hum of electronics beneath you. Outside, the desert night is calm and crisp, carrying faint hints of mineral dust and the dry scent of sagebrush. Stars glitter above like scattered sequins on a black velvet stage, and you picture the object drifting silently, a repository of ancient knowledge, a library in motion. You sip lukewarm coffee, tasting the faint bitterness mingled with desert air, and smile at the absurdity, a traveling archive of civilization's triumphs, mistakes, and experiments, passing unnoticed over a young planet teeming with curiosity. Scrolls unseen, knowledge gleaned, wisdom carried in a dream. You imagine the object's surface housing delicate instruments, quantum storage, or materials capable of preserving information for eons. Perhaps each panel, each reflective surface, is a page in a cosmic book, capturing discoveries from stars long gone, planets long vanished, and life forms extinct before humans existed. Outside, the desert wind whispers softly, and distant insects hum in accompaniment, a subtle symphony echoing the silent movement of this interstellar archive. You feel the absurdity, humans struggling to preserve data for decades, while a spacecraft drifts across light years, maintaining records for millennia. Photons dance, circuits glance, data flowing in a trance. The library analogy becomes vivid as you picture probes retrieving data, sensors recording planetary magnetic fields, atmospheres, and gravitational shifts, all catalogued meticulously. Perhaps each entry is timestamped in ways humans cannot imagine, notes preserved in atomic arrangements, chemical structures, or encoded light patterns. The desert night hums softly around you, instruments buzzing in harmony, and you imagine that the visitor's own civilizations may have already vanished, leaving only the capsule to continue its journey. Pages glide, memories hide, secrets stored in silent pride. You ponder the scale of time involved. Millions of years of evolution, scientific exploration, and technological innovation could be contained within this single traveler. You imagine civilizations rising and falling, their triumphs and errors etched into systems and materials designed to endure cosmic radiation, micrometeoroid impacts, and the cold vacuum of space. The absurdity of human short-term perspective strikes. Our calendars track days, weeks, and years, while this object preserves knowledge for eras that dwarf human history. Data hums, circuits drums, knowledge ancient. Yet it comes. Even mundane discoveries might be preserved. The invention of tools, the first flight of machines, methods for harnessing energy, and techniques for understanding chemistry or mathematics. Perhaps failed experiments, accidental discoveries, and humorous errors, like using materials that corrode in seconds, are encoded alongside brilliant insights. Outside, the desert night is still, punctuated only by distant rustling insects, echoing the patient quiet of the spacecraft's journey through space. Atoms twist, photons list, knowledge traveling through the mist. You imagine a future human civilization encountering this time capsule. The astonishment, the sudden recognition of knowledge accumulated over millions of years, and the challenge of decoding signals and structures designed by minds far older and more patient than our own. The absurdity humbles you. Your own scientific achievements, ephemeral by comparison, seem like doodles in the margins of a cosmic encyclopedia. Yet there is beauty in imagining the continuity of knowledge, preserved against the relentless march of time. Light bends, memory sends, history carried across bends. The vessel glides silently, perfectly aligned, adjusting subtly to solar winds, magnetic fields, and gravitational pulls. Perhaps the motions themselves are part of the archive, each rotation and trajectory encoded as data to convey lessons about patience, endurance, and harmony with the cosmos. You sip your coffee again, tasting the faint bitterness and feeling the desert night settle around you, and imagine the elegance required to maintain such a delicate, long-term record. Records float, systems note, civilization's stories gently wrote. As you step back from the console, breathing deeply, the desert night wrapping around you, the image of a vast moving library lingers. 3i Atlas continues its journey, carrying knowledge far older than humanity, silently observing and preserving the legacy of countless civilizations. The wind brushes softly against your skin, the stars glimmer overhead, and you realize that in this quiet moment, you are both observer and participant in a narrative stretching millions of years, a testament to the endurance of intelligence, memory, and curiosity across the cosmos. Scientists worldwide ready instruments for potential signals or probe activity. Imagine coordinated observatories across the globe, a quiet dance of human curiosity mirroring the careful movement of the visitor itself. Let's focus on that global preparation. You lean against the cool metal of the telescope console, feeling the faint hum of electronics beneath your fingertips. Outside, the desert night is crisp, carrying the faint scent of sage and mineral dust. Stars stretch endlessly above, pinpricks of light scattered across the sky, while instruments across continents whir softly, each capturing photons, electromagnetic fluctuations, and the faintest hints of something extraordinary. Somewhere beyond the sun's glare, 3i Atlas drifts, oblivious to human anticipation, yet moving as if aware of observers watching with patience, care, and quiet excitement. Wires hum, sensors drum, telescopes scan as planets come. You imagine astronomers in remote observatories, Chile, Hawaii, the Canary Islands checking calibration, adjusting optics, and aligning receivers to detect signals beyond human comprehension. The absurdity strikes you. Humans coordinating across oceans and continents, adjusting for atmospheric interference, while a massive interstellar visitor glides silently past Mars, Venus, and Earth. Outside, the desert wind scratches softly across rocks. Insects hum faintly, and the faint vibration of your instruments mirrors the distant, imperceptible motion of the spacecraft. Signals stream, photons gleam, humans poised in a dream. The preparation is meticulous. Each observatory monitors slightly different wavelengths, electromagnetic bands, or subtle deviations in expected cosmic backgrounds. Scientists confer via video calls, emails, and encrypted channels, each adjusting for time zones, light pollution, and weather conditions. You sip lukewarm coffee, tasting faint bitterness mixed with the night air, and smile at the absurdity. A planet's worth of observers, small and fragile, mirroring the patience and precision of an interstellar traveler millions of miles away. Coordinates checked, instruments decked, curiosity measured, not wrecked. You picture a probe or signal approaching Earth. Perhaps it is tiny, invisible, carrying a payload of knowledge or sensors designed to monitor technological activity. The timing is exquisite. Humans at their observatories, carefully aligned, instruments tuned, ready to capture evidence of a visitor long in motion. You imagine the coordination required, akin to an orchestra, playing without sheet music, each musician improvising yet maintaining harmony, responding to cues imperceptible to the untrained eye. Light bends, paths extend, distant observation comprehends. Outside, the desert night feels alive with human anticipation. Instruments capture faint photons and electromagnetic anomalies. Computers record data streams, and astronomers scribble notes and hypotheses. You imagine the excitement and nervousness, the absurdity of collectively preparing for contact with something we can barely comprehend. Your own heartbeat syncs with the rhythm of the night, echoing the quiet pulse of instruments, telescopes, and sensors aligned across the globe. Gears align, circuits shine, global vigilance by design. You consider the patience required for first contact. 3. Atlas has traveled millions of miles silently, adjusting trajectory, deploying probes, and perhaps observing Earth for decades or centuries. Humans, by contrast, scramble for coordination, trying to anticipate signals, predict anomalies, and detect minute variations in electromagnetic fields. The juxtaposition is both humorous and humbling. A civilization older than ours glides effortlessly, while we hustle with coffee, data, and night-long observation schedules. Antennas sweep, satellites peep, humanity's vigilance wide and deep. You imagine networks of observatories communicating in near real time, each node verifying anomalies, ruling out error, and comparing notes across time zones and hemispheres. Perhaps one detects a slight deviation in solar flux, another picks up an unexplained radio pattern, and yet a third registers a fleeting blip on a spectrometer. Outside, the desert wind is soft, stars glitter above, and you feel both the absurdity and grandeur of collective human curiosity mirrored in the silent, deliberate glide of the visitor. Signals chase, humans pace, cosmic rhythms interlace. As you exhale and step back from the telescope, breathing the crisp desert air, you imagine the quiet ballet of preparation continuing across the globe. Instruments hum, scientists whisper, computers calculate, and yet, above it all, 3. Atlas drifts patiently through the void. You feel a gentle kinship with both observer and observed, one species coordinating with anxious precision, the other moving with effortless mastery, and you, quietly witnessing the unfolding of a delicate dance that bridges millions of miles, millennia of history, and the immeasurable curiosity of life. Auroras and subtle electromagnetic interactions hint at scanning systems mapping our planet. Picture the skies alive with invisible symphonies, resonating with forces both natural and artificial, a cosmic duet of curiosity. Let's take a moment to dwell on that image. You lean against the cool metal of the telescope console, fingertips brushing the faint vibration of electronics as photons from Earth's upper atmosphere are recorded. Outside, the desert night is crisp, carrying the faint mineral scent of stone and sage. Stars stretch endlessly above, glittering like sequins scattered across a black velvet curtain. Somewhere far above, 3 Atlas or its probes drift, observing Earth, mapping magnetic fields, auroral activity, and subtle electromagnetic fluctuations, silently charting the complex rhythms of a young technological planet. Aurora glows, magnetism flows, invisible currents everyone knows. You imagine the auroras themselves, shimmering, green, violet, and occasionally red, dancing across polar skies. Perhaps they are not just natural phenomena, but also subtle signs of scanning, the interaction of alien sensors with Earth's electromagnetic field. You shiver slightly as the desert wind brushes your cheek, inhaling the cool, mineral-laden air. feeling a curious thrill at the idea that human activity, satellites, power grids, and communication networks might be observed, mapped, and recorded without interference. The absurdity humbles and delights, humans looking at beautiful lights, unaware that they may also be part of a larger cosmic study. Currents twine, patterns shine, mapping rhythms both yours and mine. You picture small probes skimming Earth's magnetosphere, adjusting their orbits with perfect precision. They might trace charged particles, spiraling along magnetic field lines, capture subtle variations in the ionosphere, or note disruptions caused by solar activity. You feel the desert night wrap around you as faint insect hums punctuate the stillness, a quiet accompaniment to the cosmic symphony unfolding far above. Your lukewarm coffee tastes faintly metallic, perfectly matching the theme of electromagnetic observation and cosmic patience. Fields bend, signals send, unseen forces blend and mend. The mapping of Earth's electromagnetic harmony is a delicate process. You imagine probes drifting silently through space, recording interactions between solar wind and planetary magnetic fields, detecting fluctuations caused by human activity and transmitting that data back to the mothership. Outside, the desert stretches infinitely, silent except for soft wind and distant insects, and you feel both tiny and profoundly connected to this planetary scale observation. Glows ripple, currents triple, sensors tracking subtle pulse. Even the faintest aurora can become a data point. You imagine tiny streams of particles being tracked by instruments invisible to human eyes, each ripple logged and interpreted by algorithms older than human civilization. The absurdity is comforting. Humans spend decades attempting to model weather patterns and magnetic shifts, while a spacecraft and its fleet of probes glide past effortlessly, mapping electromagnetic landscapes in real time. You marvel at the cosmic patience and intelligence required for such precise observation, the way subtle forces are respected and recorded with minimal interference. Light dances, poles prance, cosmic choreography in trance. You consider how the skies themselves might become a record of observation. Auroral arcs bending along magnetic lines, subtle disturbances in electromagnetic fields, and the faint hum of satellites could all be interpreted as signatures of monitoring activity. You imagine scientists, decades from now, puzzling over anomalies, unaware that these interactions were quietly tracked and catalogued by intelligence millions of years older. Outside, the desert wind whispers across sand, carrying mineral scents that mingle with the hum of observatory instruments, perfectly synchronizing with the imagined movement of probes above. Currents flow, patterns grow, planetary secrets only they know. The duet between Earth's natural magnetic activity and the subtle scanning of 3-eye atlas is both poetic and precise. You feel your heartbeat align with the rhythm of electromagnetic currents, auroral arcs, and drifting probes. It's a cosmic dance of curiosity, a young technological species on a small blue planet observed by patient intelligence, harmonizing natural and artificial forces without disruption. You inhale deeply, the cool desert air filling your lungs, and sense the grandeur of observation, respect, and restraint. Invisible threads, magnetic spreads, curiosity quietly treads. As you step back from the telescope and absorb the desert night, the image lingers, Earth alive with currents, auroras shimmering, probes drifting silently, all part of a cosmic symphony. 3-eye atlas continues its careful observation, respecting the planet's natural rhythms while gathering data with patient intelligence. The desert wind brushes gently, stars glimmer overhead, and you realize the quiet elegance of this moment, a duet of curiosity, natural and artificial, ancient and young, observed and observing, resonating through space in perfect harmony. Brief, structured signals hint at internal communications between artificial intelligence networks aboard 3i Atlas. Imagine messages sent across light years, whispering between systems in ways our instruments can only barely detect. Let's dwell on that notion. You lean against the cool metal console of the telescope, fingertips brushing the gentle hum of electronics as instruments capture photons and electromagnetic fluctuations. Outside, the desert night stretches infinitely, carrying the faint scent of sage and mineral-rich dust. Stars glimmer like scattered sequins across the velvet black sky, distant and precise. Somewhere far beyond, signals pulse silently between the ship's internal networks, each whispering instructions, coordinating probes, and managing systems with a patience that dwarfs human comprehension. You sip lukewarm coffee, tasting the faint bitterness mingled with the desert air, and marvel at the absurdity. Entire conversations occurring across machinery, perfectly timed, without any sound, invisible, except to instruments designed to detect it. Signals drift, circuits lift, whispers threading through a cosmic rift. You imagine the messages themselves, brief, structured bursts of data, traveling through superconducting conduits or photon-based communication lines, each packet encoded in a language older than our stars. Perhaps the AI networks discuss trajectory corrections, probe deployment, or subtle adjustments to shielding. You shiver slightly, feeling the cool desert breeze against your cheek, sensing the harmony of these silent exchanges, their precision mirroring the calculated elegance of the spacecraft's glide past planets and moons. The absurdity is delightful. Humans gossip in cafes and offices, while this intelligence communicates across eons and millions of miles without interruption, interference, or error. Patterns weave, pulses cleave, intelligence hidden in a sleeve. Imagine the synchronization required. Each network node aboard the object anticipates actions of other systems, shares data, and adjusts its behavior in microseconds. Perhaps a probe near Earth receives guidance based on slight deviations from expected electromagnetic readings, all calculated and transmitted silently. Outside, the desert is still, insects hum faintly, and the subtle vibration of observatory instruments mirrors the imperceptible pulse of interstellar communication. You feel your heartbeat slow, aligning with the rhythm of messages traversing a vessel, moving millions of miles with perfect coordination. Whispers glide, currents slide, secrets flowing deep inside. The content of these communications is a mystery. Perhaps they include instructions for energy optimization, data prioritization, or contingency adjustments for unexpected solar flares. Maybe the AI discusses the mapping of Earth's magnetosphere, or notes anomalies in atmospheric patterns, all without revealing themselves to human instruments. You sip your coffee again, noting the faint metallic tang, and feel awe at the elegance of systems operating across scales of space and time that humans can barely perceive. Light pulses, logic convulses, networks sharing subtle impulses. Even the briefest signal is precise. Perhaps it is measured in femtoseconds, orchestrated so that each network node responds in exact sequence, preserving synchronization across the entire spacecraft. You imagine the absurdity. Humans fumble with Wi-Fi connections and delayed emails, while here, messages zip effortlessly through circuits that have endured millennia, coordinating tasks, adjusting trajectories, and managing complex sensors without any hint of noise. Outside, the desert night seems to hum in response, the wind whispering across rocks, insects providing a gentle, percussive accompaniment, currents flash, pulses clash, harmony maintained without a crash. You reflect on the patient intelligence implied by these silent communications. Each adjustment, each command, is part of a symphony spanning light years. The AI networks may anticipate events decades before they occur, adjusting motion, probe behavior, and sensor sensitivity accordingly. You imagine them speaking in a language humans cannot decode, a conversation of pure purpose, flowing seamlessly, gracefully, and silently, perfectly tuned to the spacecraft's trajectory and mission objectives. Codes spin, threads thin, silent messages humming within. Even the smallest probe may rely on these internal exchanges, receiving brief bursts of guidance that adjust orientation, velocity, or data collection patterns. You picture the intricate dance of systems talking to each other, maintaining equilibrium, monitoring solar radiation, planetary influences, and electromagnetic interactions with elegant precision. The absurdity humbles. Human messages struggle to cross continents without delay, yet this intelligence communicates instantaneously across light years, orchestrating actions across an object that dwarfs Earth's largest spacecraft. Silent weave, whispers cleave, cosmic messages flowing and leave. As you step back from the telescope and breathe in the crisp, mineral-scented air, the desert night enfolds you in quiet reflection. Somewhere far above, AI networks continue to converse, coordinating silently, communicating across unimaginable distances, and guiding the probes and spacecraft with patience, precision, and elegance. The wind brushes softly against your skin, the stars glimmer overhead, and you feel the subtle majesty of intelligence operating on a scale both immense and meticulously quiet. Gravitational anomalies suggest internal structures far beyond natural formation. Picture decks, laboratories, and compartments folded across space-time, holding both tools and knowledge, marvels of interstellar engineering. Let's linger on that concept. You lean against the cool metal of the telescope console, fingertips brushing the subtle hum of electronics as data streams across screens. Outside, the desert night is crisp, carrying faint scents of mineral dust and dry sage, punctuated by distant insect calls. Stars sparkle overhead like scattered diamonds on black velvet, silent witnesses to motions beyond human comprehension. Somewhere far beyond the sun's glare, 3I Atlas drifts, and the gravitational anomalies hint at incredible internal structures. Space is folded and stretched across dimensions, holding laboratories, tools, and perhaps entire archives of knowledge. Decks unfold, secrets hold, wonders silent, yet bold. You imagine walking aboard these massive internal structures, suspended in zero gravity. Hallways twist subtly, laboratories stacked seamlessly, compartments that appear and vanish as if space itself has been folded into efficient patterns. Perhaps entire ecosystems of machinery operate without noise, calculating, recording, and maintaining the structural integrity of the spacecraft while coordinating probe deployment. The absurdity humbles and excites. Humans struggle to build a single space station, yet this object contains engineering that defies scale, gravity, and imagination. Corridors spin, panels thin, systems hum quietly within. The gravitational anomalies themselves are a subtle clue. Perhaps sections of the ship are shielded by fields that bend and modulate gravity, creating the illusion of mass where none exists, or redistributing weight across volumes larger than cities. You feel the desert wind brushing against your cheek, carrying the crispness of night, as you imagine delicate sensors mapping these distortions, while 3I Atlas glides silently past, its interior a ballet of physics and design. You sip lukewarm coffee, tasting faint bitterness mingled with dust, and marvel at the patience and intelligence required to engineer such a vessel. Spaces fold, logic bold, energy flows in unseen mold. You picture laboratories operating inside the ship, instruments observing cosmic phenomena, tiny mechanical appendages adjusting probes, and quantum processors calculating trajectories across millennia. Perhaps data archives stretch across multiple dimensions, stored in materials capable of surviving millennia of radiation, micrometeoroid impacts, and cosmic winds. Outside, the desert is still, insects hum, and the faint vibration of the observatory instruments seems to echo the gentle rhythm of activity inside the massive craft. Panels align, systems refine, science housed across space-time spine. The absurdity of scale strikes again. Humans struggle to maintain a single laboratory in orbit, while this object contains countless laboratories, living spaces for artificial systems, and mechanisms folded in ways that would defy human perception. You imagine corridors curving seamlessly across volumes, rooms appearing larger inside than outside, perhaps utilizing technology that manipulates local space-time. The desert night hums softly, and you feel both infinitesimal and intimately connected to the subtle marvels unfolding in the void above. Gravity bends, volumes extend, engineering rules we cannot comprehend. You consider tools and devices stored within these compartments. Perhaps delicate instruments measure cosmic rays, magnetic anomalies, and interstellar particles. Maybe repair drones or micromachines maintain structural integrity, ensuring systems operate flawlessly over millennia. You sip your coffee again, noting the metallic tang, and imagine artificial intelligence coordinating these activities with precision, elegance, and absolute patience. Systems hum, data drum, marvels hidden where shadows come. Even the subtle motions of the ship hint at engineering sophistication. Minor gravitational shifts suggest internal machinery adjusting positions, compensating for solar radiation, planetary interactions, and the momentum of deployed probes. Outside, stars glimmer in silent rhythm. The desert night remains calm, and you feel the absurd wonder of internal engineering, operating on scales and with precision that humans cannot yet fathom. Compartmented decks, hidden specs, intelligence folded in complex flecks. As you step back from the console, breathing in the mineral-scented desert air, the enormity of the engineering marvel becomes tangible. 3. I-Atlas continues gliding through space, gravitational anomalies, hinting at complex internal structures, laboratories, and tools far beyond human imagination. The wind brushes your cheeks, insects hum faintly, and the stars overhead glimmer silently. You realize that intelligence can manifest not only in observation, but also in meticulous, impossible engineering, a testament to patience, precision, and the quiet poetry of interstellar design. Observatories, amateur astronomers, and space agencies coordinate to track this visitor. Imagine humanity united quietly in anticipation, working together to observe the unknown with patience and wonder. Let's pause to visualize that. You lean against the cool metal of the telescope console, fingertips brushing the faint vibration of instruments, capturing photons from 3i Atlas. Outside, the desert night stretches infinitely, crisp and still, carrying the faint scent of mineral-rich soil and dry sage. Stars twinkle overhead, like scattered sequins on a black velvet curtain, each pinprick a silent witness to the coordinated efforts unfolding below. Somewhere beyond the sun's glare, the massive interstellar object drifts silently, its trajectory smooth, deliberate, and entirely unaware of the human choreography it has inspired. Telescopes align, eyes combine, human curiosity intertwine. You imagine observatories across continents, Chile, Hawaii, South Africa, Europe, and Asia, checking optics, calibrating instruments, and exchanging real-time data. Amateur astronomers, perched on rooftops or in backyards, scan the sky with telescopes of varying sophistication, noting anomalies, photographing streaks of light, and logging observations meticulously. The absurdity strikes you. Humans, spread across the globe, united not by politics, borders, or commerce, but by sheer curiosity and the quiet desire to understand, coordinating in near-perfect harmony to observe something millions of miles away. Coordinates shared, signals compared, patience patiently repaired. You picture space agencies orchestrating satellite observations, adjusting orbital instruments to capture subtle electromagnetic anomalies, auroral variations, and gravitational shifts. Even satellites communicate with ground teams, sending streams of data, calculations, and images across time zones, while humans in offices and observatories analyze and compare. The desert wind brushes softly against your cheek, insects hum faintly, and the gentle vibration of your console mirrors the pulse of global cooperation taking place millions of miles above Earth. Lights align, data combine, human patience measured in time. The coordination is remarkable. You imagine video calls, emails, and encrypted networks connecting scientists, engineers, and enthusiasts. Charts are compared, predictions verified, and models refined in real time. Perhaps tiny deviations in the spacecraft's path are discussed across continents, while amateur astronomers note fleeting reflections or glimmers of light, invisible to large-scale instruments. You sip lukewarm coffee, tasting faint bitterness mingled with desert air, and feel both humility and wonder at the patience and dedication required to track a visitor moving silently through interstellar space. Observers peer, signals veer, human attention, sharp and clear. Even the smallest contribution matters. A backyard telescope might catch a slight reflection, an old photometer may detect a faint pulse, or a satellite could record subtle shifts in solar-wind interactions. You imagine these observations merging into a global network of awareness, each node reinforcing the others, collectively constructing a picture far beyond what any single observer could achieve. The absurdity is charming. Humanity, often clumsy and distracted, demonstrating patience, precision, and quiet curiosity in its purest form. Charts plotted, data dotted, humanity's vigilance carefully spotted. You picture the excitement and anxiety of those coordinating observations. Scientists adjust calculations, compare models, and predict where and when the spacecraft might appear next. Amateur astronomers check star charts repeatedly, photographing the night sky in anticipation. Outside, the desert remains still, punctuated by faint insect hums, and you feel your heartbeat syncing with the rhythm of these global efforts, a mirror to the silent glide of the spacecraft, millions of miles above. Eyes observe, signals conserve, human curiosity calmly serve. Even the smallest satellite or sensor contributes to the network. Instruments detect subtle gravitational anomalies, electromagnetic shifts, and reflections off the spacecraft's metallic hull, feeding data to scientists whose minds stretch across hemispheres. You imagine the absurd yet beautiful scene: humans, scattered across continents, united by observation, sharing a quiet anticipation that transcends politics, culture, and language. The desert night hums softly around you, as if echoing the patient energy of global collaboration. Threads weave, signals cleave, humanity quietly perceives. As you step back from the console, inhaling the crisp, mineral-scented desert air, you feel the profound elegance of collective attention. 3. Atlas continues its silent journey, and Earth responds with patient curiosity. Instruments hum, Astronomers whisper, data streams flow, and the stars above glimmer like distant witnesses. You realize that in this brief moment, humanity demonstrates unity, patience, and wonder, quietly working together to observe the unknown, and that the quiet harmony of collaboration mirrors the elegance of the spacecraft itself. As October wanes, the object prepares for potential probe deployment. Picture the suspense stretching across light years and continents, a silent prelude to discovery, with the universe holding its breath along with us. Let's linger on that anticipation. You lean against the cool metal of the telescope console, fingertips brushing the faint vibration of electronics as photons from 3I Atlas are recorded and analyzed. Outside, the desert night is crisp, carrying the faint scent of minerals and dry sage. Stars glimmer overhead, scattered across the velvet black sky, like sequins in a cosmic tapestry. Somewhere beyond the sun's glare, the object drifts silently, poised in a perfect balance of motion and patience, as if it too senses the gravity of the moment and the collective attention of humanity focused across the globe. Silence hums, light becomes, anticipation slowly drums. You imagine the spacecraft's internal systems preparing for action. Tiny mechanical arms might align, sensors calibrate, and internal algorithms verify trajectories for potential probe deployment. You feel the absurdity and wonder. A massive interstellar traveler, billions of miles away, performing meticulous checks while humans huddle in observatories and backyards, instruments at the ready, coffee cups warming and cooling, hearts quietly sinking with the unfolding cosmic tension. Outside, the desert wind whispers over the dunes. Insects hum softly, and the faint vibration of instruments mirrors the subtle pulse of the spacecraft's own machinery. Decks align, circuits shine, readiness flowing, line by line. The suspense is not just human. You imagine the object itself, holding in patient stasis, waiting for ideal conditions, solar winds, gravitational vectors, and planetary alignment, all converging perfectly. Each micro-adjustment is calculated to ensure probes, if deployed, move seamlessly and silently, preserving stealth and precision. You sip lukewarm coffee, tasting the faint metallic bitterness mingling with desert air, and marvel at the elegance of patience measured not in hours or days, but in millennia, and the vast sweep of interstellar motion. Currents shift, shadows drift, cosmic instruments softly lift. Outside, Earth responds with its own quiet anticipation. Observatories across continents hum with activity. Amateur astronomers check coordinates. Satellites adjust orbits, and networks of scientists communicate across time zones to coordinate efforts. The absurdity is delightful. Humans spanning the globe, united by curiosity, mirroring the precision and patience of an object, millions of miles away. You feel a subtle kinship between observer and observed, a quiet dance of attention stretching across both space and time. Light bends, monitors trend, signals waiting to extend. You picture probes poised inside the spacecraft, small, delicate, and nearly invisible, ready to glide along solar winds toward Earth. Perhaps internal systems hum with activity as software verifies timing, orientation, and shielding. Outside, the desert night remains still, punctuated only by the faint scratching of sand against rocks and the quiet drone of nocturnal insects. You imagine the collective breath of humanity matching the silence of the universe itself, a symphony of anticipation stretching across hemispheres and light years alike. Circuits hum, sensors drum, tiny systems waiting for the sum. Even the faintest interaction inside the spacecraft is meaningful. Internal communications may confirm readiness, Propulsion adjustments may fine-tune trajectories, and calibration routines verify sensor accuracy. You shiver slightly at the sheer precision and patience. A vessel prepared to release tiny probes that could map or observe Earth. Its internal processes perfectly synchronized, while humanity waits with quiet, nervous excitement. Threads prepare, pulses stare, cosmic choreography aware. The desert night seems to reflect the tension. You feel the chill against your skin. Inhale deeply and imagine the universe holding its breath, particles suspended in the solar wind, magnetic fields quivering imperceptibly, and Earth itself basking in quiet anticipation. Instruments hum softly, your coffee grows lukewarm, and you feel the gentle resonance of interconnected patience. The spacecraft, the probes, and humanity itself, all suspended in a moment of potential revelation. Suspense flows, motion slows, readiness measured as it goes. As you step back from the telescope and absorb the vast, mineral-scented desert night, the image of calm stretched across light years lingers. 3I ATLS drifts, poised to act, and humanity waits, ready to witness or interpret the deployment of silent scouts. Stars glitter above like distant witnesses. The wind brushes softly against your face, and the instruments hum quietly, reflecting the delicate tension of this cosmic prelude. In this moment, patience, precision, and anticipation converge, creating a silent symphony of curiosity, spanning both Earth and the cosmos, waiting for discovery to unfold. As 3I Atlas journeys onward, we are reminded of the scale, patience, and intelligence required to traverse interstellar space. Picture yourself beneath the night sky, feeling simultaneously infinitesimal and connected, lulled by the rhythm of the universe itself, ready to drift with these mysteries into sleep. As 3I Atlas journeys onward, we are reminded of the scale, patience, and intelligence required to traverse interstellar space. Picture yourself beneath the night sky, feeling simultaneously infinitesimal and connected, lulled by the rhythm of the universe itself, ready to drift with these mysteries into sleep. Let's linger on that sensation. You lean against the cool metal of the telescope console, fingertips brushing the subtle hum of electronics as photons from distant stars and 3I Atlas are recorded. Outside, the desert night stretches infinitely, carrying the faint mineral scent of stone and the soft aroma of sagebrush. Stars sparkle above like scattered diamonds, each one a silent witness to the journey of a massive interstellar object gliding silently through space. You sip lukewarm coffee, tasting the faint bitterness mingled with desert air, and marvel at the profound perspective. You are both infinitesimal and intimately connected to an unfolding cosmic story. Light pulses, shadows dance, space and time in quiet trance. You imagine the journey of 3I Atlas in slow motion, spanning millions of miles, decades of observation, and millennia of preparation. Its trajectory threads past planets, through gravitational currents, and across magnetic fields. Each movement deliberate and precise. The absurdity strikes you. Humans, confined to brief lifetimes and small continents, witnessing only fragments of a story that has been written in photons, gravity, and patience for eons. Yet here you are, an observer, linked to both the machinery and intelligence of the distant visitor and the vast rhythms of the cosmos. Currents flow, distances grow, silent motions we barely know. Outside, the desert night seems to mirror the tranquility of this cosmic perspective. Insects hum faintly, the wind brushes against your cheeks, and the subtle vibration of the telescope instruments resonates with the imperceptible hum of the universe. You imagine 3I Atlas continuing its glide, probes deployed or poised, internal systems coordinating silently across eons of calculation. The juxtaposition is both humbling and comforting. Human anxieties, routines, and trivialities shrink beside interstellar patience, yet they are equally meaningful, as part of the shared rhythm of observation and wonder. Stars glint, nights hint, cosmic patterns, subtle and distinct. You reflect on scale, the immense distances traveled by the object, the centuries of intelligence encoded in its systems, and the sheer patience required for interstellar travel, all dwarf human perception. Yet, when you look through the telescope, tracking photons from its journey, you feel connected, part of a continuum bridging millennia and light years. The absurdity of human insignificance becomes a source of calm rather than fear, a reminder that the universe is vast and patient, and our curiosity, however small, is perfectly aligned with its rhythm. Galaxies spin, forces grin, perspective stretches thin within. Imagine yourself beneath this night sky, watching faint glimmers from distant objects, feeling the pull of gravity and time stretching across light years. You sense the simultaneous minuteness of your presence and the profundity of your connection to everything observed. 3. Atlas continues silently, patiently, like a librarian of the stars, cataloging knowledge, mapping planetary systems, and carrying intelligence shaped by eons of experience. You inhale the crisp, mineral-scented air and exhale slowly, allowing the rhythm of your breath to match the slow glide of the spacecraft through space. Currents whisper, distances flicker, presence small, yet not inferior. The lessons of patience and intelligence are subtle. You notice the precision of the spacecraft's motion, the harmony of its internal systems, and the deliberate glide past planets and moons. Every adjustment, every measurement, every silent communication reflects eons of accumulated experience and cosmic awareness. Outside, the desert is quiet, punctuated only by faint insect calls and the occasional whisper of wind across sand, mirroring the gentle rhythm of observation and understanding. Paths align, motions refine, knowledge flowing in silent design. You imagine humanity from this perspective, tiny, fleeting, curious, yet capable of observation, reflection, and awe. 3. Atlas continues its interstellar journey, and you, standing beneath the desert sky, feel the extraordinary paradox of being simultaneously inconsequential and essential, both observer and participant in a universe of quiet elegance. Your eyes drift to the stars, the vast darkness embracing you, and the hum of the telescope resonates with the quiet, patient rhythm of cosmic motion. Time bends, thought extends, consciousness stretching without end. As you step back, inhale the crisp air, and settle your gaze on the infinite black above, you feel a gentle serenity. The spacecraft glides onward, its intelligence, patience, and precision a testament to the vastness of the cosmos. Stars twinkle, the desert holds its breath, and you sense the universe itself settling into rhythm. In this quiet communion, you are lulled into a gentle reflection on scale, patience, intelligence, and the interconnectedness of observation and curiosity, ready to drift into sleep alongside the mysteries of 3 Atlas and the eternal dance of the cosmos.